Hello everyone, welcome to What If Issei, Vali and Gasper were betrayed and joined forces with Sailor Moon Girls Part 1. Before we start, please go support EduardoKenpis for writing that awesome fanfic. This is the translated version I made. There will be some mistake in character's gender, but of course Issei is a male. The entire supernatural world in the Moon Kingdom thought that peace had come, but in reality it had not. In the supernatural world, the three biblical factions betray three important boys and then realize their mistake. In the Moon Kingdom, all the girls and even the cat counselors realize that their past life memories were not actually recovered 100%. They realized that limbs were missing and they did not know who they were. They realized that they were their true love. They realized that more enemies are approaching and only 3 people know who they are. Chapter 1: The Betrayal. Thousands of years ago, there was a battlefield in which there was a group of 4 allied people and another group of 4 enemy people. He was preparing to kill a very special person, Flag. He couldn't complete his attack because someone intervened. "Don't think he's alone, Lucifer," he said seriously as he stood in front of the person. "Young man, I told you that I don't need your help," he said seriously as he stood up. "Of course I'm not going to leave you, since you are a very special person. Since you are the biblical god," he said while showing him a smile. "Well, now I will be your opponent, Lucifer," he said seriously while preparing his sword to attack. "Lucifer, damn Hoshi no Senchithai, Star Warrior," he said screaming while launching himself against the person. "Lucifer," he said screaming while launching himself against Lucifer. When their powers collide, they create a very large explosion. Current time. After the battle with Trihexa, the dragon god Apocalypse, everyone returned home, but on the way back things were no longer going well. At Hayata's home at dawn. "Hey Drake, don't you think there's something strange going on with the girls?" he said depressed. "Drake, I don't know, Ibla," he said thinking. "Issei, I think I'll go to the club to see," he said leaving the room. Club. The chestnut was entering the club, but he was confused that the leader of heaven was there. The leader of the fallen, the leader of the demons was also there, Rias and her entourage, his comrades Vali, but he realized that Rabel, Lei Fei, Gabriel, Sona and her entourage were not there, but Saji was there. Issei, it happens to Fwag. He couldn't finish because someone hit him in the stomach. "What happens to you, Cone Fwag?" Getting hit in the face. "Kaneko, silence," she said seriously. "Zerzex, Hayata Issei, from today you will no longer be part of the demons," he said seriously. "Azazel, I'm sorry Issei, but the adventure with us ends," he said seriously. "Rias, I don't know why I fell in love with a pervert," she said seriously. "Zenobia, you won't give me children because you're an idiot who can't even beat a genius," she said seriously. "Zerzex, from today onwards you will die and the power of the Security will be given to one more person," he said while preparing the power. "Izeoi, ha, so it's the pathetic Security me, Rias," said a blonde boy as he approached to hug Rias. "Irina, I don't know why I fell in love with you, perverted boy," she said with disgust. "You see, the Issei is the one who will give the highest name to the Security," she said calmly. "Issei, I did something for you, and this is how you repay me," he said furiously. "Zerzex, it's time for you to die," he said while launching the attack. "It's too early for him to die," enters the club kicking the ball of destruction back at them and leaves with Issei. While the leaders were direct to the attack that returned to him, the 2 boys run away from the club to a place in a forest, and the brown-haired boy sits on a tree. "Issei, idiot, you shouldn't have done that since he'll be looking for you," he said while crying. "Vali, I don't care, I can't let my rival die, my friend," he said calmly, and like a brother, he said in a low voice. "Issei, did he drop a screw or something?" he said trying not to laugh. "Vali, ha, how funny," he said blushing with embarrassment. "Issei, we can't stay any longer," he said while thinking. "Azazel, you should be whirled since there will be no escape," he said entering the conversation and takes out his artificial sacred gear, but it didn't work. "But that," he said in shock. "Vali, Subion discovered your plan, he warned me in time, and your sacred gear is a cheap fake," she said mockingly. "Azazel, they think he's my height," he said, lunging at him, but he couldn't land a blow. Skola sent him into a tree. Issei Gasu, he said, printed. Vali, you seem to be late, he said mockingly. Azazel, where is my sacred gear, he said seriously. Gasu, that's yours, Uvusi Fafnir, he said mockingly. Fafnir, you always disappoint me. You think that we are your tools of war. When a dragon is in trouble, we have the obligation to support it, and not turn our backs, he said seriously. Issei ready, the magic circle is red, he said while warning the two dragons. Vala and Gasa wasted no time and entreed the magic circle, and the fallen man disappeared in front of eyes. Azazel, damn it, he said furiously while hitting the tree. Tokyo, they retained blonde, was in a state of shock. Girl, hey Darien, when are you going to break up with that stupid girl? She said, making fun of that girl. Darien, don't worry, it was easy for me to play with her feelings. Kisses, she is a girl who is so stupid that she wouldn't get a boy to take that she was behind him. Darien, S.E. serene, it's not what I think, he said nervously and couldn't finish the sentence because has pressed to slap. Girl, hey damn, she couldn't finish because she also reviewed to slap. Serena, shut up you damn thing, and I hate you, I don't want to see you anymore, she said while crying and walking away from them. In another place of Juban. Haruka, hey girls, where is the princess? He said while greeting with two girls and a girl. Luna, Nanny, she said curiously. Am, what's up Luna, she said curiously. Artemis, she is not calm, she said while pointing to a running girl. I laughed, what happened to him? Why is he crying? She said curiously. Lita, what are you waiting for, let's see, she said while following Serena. Serena had been running for almost 5 minutes and arrived at a park where there were almost no people. Since she can't stand still, she sat on the ground and started crying more. Mina, Serena, what's wrong? Why are you crying? She said as she approached to hug me. Serena, it's Sniff Darian Sfiff, he was cheating on me Sfiff here, I was just a game for him Sfiff Aawa, she said while crying more. Haruka, but what are you saying princess? It is true that this could not end because a strange circle appeared for them and 3 unknown people came out. Setsuna, who are you? She said while standing guard. Issei, listen, calm down, don't think we're here to attack, he said trying to calm down. Artemis, tell us who you are, he said seriously. Issei rubs his eyes, tell me guys if I'm not crazy or dreaming that a cat spoke out of nowhere, he said surprised and in shock. Valis/Gasu, of course not, you're not crazy, not even dreaming, he said surprised and nervous. I laughed, stop playing around, we know they're not normal, she said seriously. Vali, and how do you know that we are not normal, he said seriously. All, they were left without an answer. Gasu, hey, we have to go quickly, he said seriously to get out of this conversation. Serena, tell us who they are, she said seriously. Issei, how do you look like if we go to a place where we can talk properly since we know that you are also not normal, he said seriously. All, they were still speechless. I laughed, you're right, come follow me, I have somewhere to go, he said with a forced smile. All the girls accompanied the 3 boys and arrived at a place like a temple which the black-haired girl says. I laughed, it's the temple where I live and where we talk, she said as she entered a room to begin the conversation with the boys. Michiru, well, tell us who they are, she said seriously. Issei, well, you believe in supernatural things, he said seriously. Ami, you mean angels, demons and ghosts, she said calmly. Gasu, that's right, but just get rid of the ghost, he said calmly. Rei, now that I think about it, I feel an evil energy from you, she said while pointing at the silver-haired man. Vali, that's my name, it's Vali Lucifer, I'm descendant of Lucifer and my race is demon, and I'm also a celestial dragon, he's Albion, the white dragon emperor, he said calmly. Albion, nice to meet you, said from behind Vali. Gasu, I am Gasa Fullbuster, I am a fallen angel and I am also a dragon king and he is Fafnir, he said calmly. Fafnir, nice to meet you, I'm the Dragon King Fafnir, he said through the chestnut's hand. Issei. I am Issei Hayadu. I am a demon dragon. I am also a celestial dragon, and he is Drake, the Red Dragon Emperor. Drake, nice to meet you, he said calmly. Lita, wow, they're all dragons, he said, surprised along with the others. Club. Zerzex, so they didn't find her, he said calmly. Kiba, no Lucifer-sama, he said while kneeling, with your permission I leave. He leaves to see his mistress. Issei, they found the Sekiryutai, he said hopefully. Kiba, no, he ran away with Hakuryuku and a fallen angel. Issei, well, I hope I find it as quickly as possible since I want to train to be able to control the power, he said calmly, leaving the room. Outside the club. Issei, damn it, not even they can do their job properly. I hope they find them or else Risavan-sama will get mad at me, he said angrily and calmly. At the Juban temple, while the boys finished presenting, they decided to explain about the supernatural world and also about the system that angels, fallen and demons have that serve to reincarnate, while Issei decided to tell the situation in which he was and also talked about the betrayal that they did to the boys, while the girls along with the cats clenched their fists in anger. Even one realized something. Gasu, damn, I think we forgot something, he said calmly. Issei, you still have the pieces, right? He said with doubt. Issei, hell, he said desperately. Drake, damn, I forgot, he said shouting. Albion, how useless, even though she is with him, and he doesn't realize it, he said annoyed. Serena, you mean the pieces that are used for reincarnation, he said calmly. Issei, hee, I completely forgot about that, he said with shame. Serena, don't worry, I'll help you, she said as she stood up. While she joined her hands, her body began to shine a little and she came out with an outfit. Vali, impossible that energy is, he said in shock. Gasu, it is a pure energy that is seen, he said in shock. Issei, but how beautiful it is. But why does it make me feel like I've already felt it before, he said thinking. Serena, please, Silver Crystal, lend me your power to help that young man, she said seriously. The chestnut's body began to shine as the 8 pieces appeared in front of him, and then in a second he disappeared. Club. There was a redhead sitting at her desk while thinking about how to find the brown-haired boy, and in front of her the 8 pawns appeared. Rias, how impossible, if he takes it away he dies, said Shock. Tokyo Juban, the 3 boys were shocked by the power the girl demonstrated. Vali, I didn't expect that, he said calmly. Gasu, he is almost or superior to a seraph, he said without believing it. Serena, well, it's time for us to tell our story, she said calmly while the others agreed. Chapter 2, Getting to Know the Supernatural World, Part 1. Once the blonde girl was transformed into a princess, and decided to tell her story. Serena, well, you've already introduced yourselves, now it's our turn, she said calmly while the other girls agreed. This is how it was, the blonde told the story of the day she met Luna, and that was where her way of life changed. She also told how her friends got to know each other, the prince and his daughter, until she was complete. She also told about her enemies and the hard battles they had, and the blonde decided to tell what happened a few moments ago before they arrived while everyone was upset. Issei, that guy is an idiot, how could he play with a girl's feelings, he said with his eyes closed. And you are very beautiful, he said while looking at the blonde. Serena, thank you, she said blushing. Vali, also, what happens to the girl if you are not together? He said seriously. Serena, I don't know, but I want to know if he's okay, she said sadly. Girls and cats, they felt sad. The boys, they looked at him sadly. Here you are, I've been looking for you, Serena, he said tiredly as he entered the room. Haruka, damn you, what are you doing here? You weren't enough to make the princess cry, he said annoyed and threw himself at her, but it was stopped. Michiru, hey Haruka, it's not the right time, she said while holding together with Setsuna. Darien, let me talk to Serena, he said annoyed. Gasu, hey you idiot, get out of here since none of us want you here, he said angrily. I laughed, you're standing there, get out now, she said annoyed. Issei, get out or I'll eliminate you, he said annoyed while pointing with his left hand, while hugging Serena who was crying. Serena, you heard what they told you, get out now, she said, crying. Darien, someday we have to talk, Serena, he said, annoyed as he walked away. Serena, thanks guys, she said as she calmed down. Issei, it's nothing, he said as he stood up. Well, it's time to go, he said seriously as he looked at the boys. Ami, where are they going? She said curiously. Issei, as we say, only the biblical factions betrayed us. Let's go see the other factions to explain it to them, he said seriously. Serena, she accompanied them, she said seriously. Setsuna, but princess, she said calmly. Serena, with or without that idiot, I have to find out what exists apart from us, she said seriously. Issei, hey, I'm not an idiot, you know, he said, defending himself. Serena, ha ha ha, I'm sorry, she said, embarrassed. Gasa/Vali. But if you really are, he said mockingly while the brown-haired boy looks at him angrily. Lita, hey, they say that the angels betrayed their comrades, so wouldn't they be committing a sin? God would have already punished the treacherous angels, she said curiously. At that moment the boys tensed over the question and did not know what to say. Then two boys saw the brown-haired boy and agreed to him, while the brown-haired boy knew what it meant. Issei, well, to be honest, it's about the question, she said. It's something very serious, he said seriously while everyone paid attention. God is dead. Heaven stopped giving birth to angels, he said, a little sad. The room fell silent because of the news that the brown-haired boy said. Mina, I can't believe that the famous God is dead, she said in disbelief. Luna, so if God is dead, isn't it supposed that the scale would be destroyed? She said curiously. Artemis, that's right, why does the world act normal? He said curiously. Gasu, not only God died but also the original Satans died, he said seriously. Hataru, even the demon kings, she said in disbelief. Issei, okay, how about you go and get to know the supernatural world, he said with a smile. All hi, everyone said seriously. As the fallen angel created a circle, the girls transformed. Note, ignore Rini. Issei, so this is your battle suit, he said surprised. Serena, yes, although you are just like that, normalists, she said happily. Michiru, you're not going to wear your battle suit, she said curiously. Vali, we don't change our clothes, he said seriously. Gasu, it's ready, we'll go first to Kyoto to see the yokai faction, he said seriously. Hataru, yokai faction, said the girl curiously as everyone entreed the circle. Issei, you'll see, he said calmly. Meanwhile, in the underworld. In the Citri clan, things were no longer going well after hearing the news. Lord Citri, let's see, Seraphal, are you saying that they are behind them? He said, annoyed. Seraphal, yes, a loaf all they betrayed, she said seriously. Lady Citri, you know, I feel that the boy who supposedly wants to obtain the power of the Red Dragon is suspecting subcutting, he said seriously. Seraphal, I don't think so. Besides, I just heard that they betrayed us, she said as she got up to leave. And by the way, where is Sotn? She said curiously. Lord Citri, she is upset, he said seriously. Seraphal, why? She said curiously. The girl's parents did not answer her and left without saying anything, and the girl was confused, so she went to see her sister and saw that she was upset. Seraphal, SOSO, he said as he threw himself to hug her but was stopped. Sound. Seraphal, what are you talking about? We realize that they belong to the Cows Brigades, she said seriously. Sona, shut up, leave me alone. I don't want to talk to you anymore, I hate you, she said angry and went back to her club. The girl was in a state of shock as she never thought that her sister would eat to hate her. Meanwhile, the boys and the others. Kyoto, a magic circle appears in front of a temple. I laughed. And why do we eat here and not to Kyoto? She said curiously. Issei, well, actually we are in Kyoto, only we are in front of the home of the leader of the yokai, he said calmly. Setsuna, but there's no one, she said curiously. Everyone was going to enter but was stopped by one of the guardians. Stop, who are you? Said the person who was a crow yokai seriously. Guardian, it's okay, just be careful, Princess Kuno-sama. Kuno, hello Issei, what brings you here? He said happily. Sire Moon, wow, how cute, she has a tail and a fox's ear, she said surprised along with the others. Issei, it's an emergency. I want to talk to your mother. I have seriously. Kuno, am okay follow. The little princess enters a large room where the leader was sitting on a throne while the guest sat on the floor, obvious sitting like the Japanese do. What brings you here, young man? She said calmly. Issei, hello Yasaka-sama, we just wanted to tell you that the 3 biblical factions betrayed me along with Vala and Gasu, he said seriously. Yasaka, but why are you supposed to be the pillar of the factions, she said serviously and annoyed. The chestnut decided to tell what happened and his objective, before Vali arrived, when they fled together with the fallen angel. Kuno, they are damn traits, she said angrily. Yasaka, Kuno calming, she said calmly, and by the way, who are they, she said while pointing at the girls. Gasu, we met them on the road and we got to know each other, he said seriously while pointing at the girls. Yasaka, may I know your name, young lady? He said calmly. Sailor Moon, hi, I'm Sailor Moon and also the leader, and they are my guardians and they are my advisors, she said calmly. Yasaka, Sailor Moon, she said surprised, I thought it was just a legend, she said thoughtfully. Luna, can I know how you knew about us? She said curiously. Sailor Uranus, I have doubts about that too, he said a little seriously. Yasaka, that's what my people said, that there was a warrior who came from the moon, he said calmly. The yokai leader wanted to talk more with them but was interrupted by her guard. Guard, Yakasa-sama, the leader of the fallen, is looking for you, he said kneeling. Vali, damn, they'll find us, he said seriously. Yasaka, Kuno, show him the room to hide, he said seriously. Let him in, he said looking at his guard. Kuno, yes, follow me, he said while showing the room, and the others entreed the room. Yasaka, what do you want, Azazel, leader of the fallen? He said calmly. Azazel, hello leader Yasaka, I just wanted to tell you that 3 traitors escaped from us. They are 2 dragons and a fallen angel, they belong to Chaos Briages, he said seriously. Yasaka, tell me who the dragons and the fallen angel are, she said calmly. Azazel, is the fallen angel Khalid Gasa Fullbuster, the white dragon Vala Lucifer, and the red dragon Issei Hayadu, he said seriously. Yasaka, Issei is wanted, he said surprised. You stupid fallen, your face tells me the opposite, he said in his mind. Don't worry, I will give the order to capture the traitors, after all we are allies, he said seriously. Azazel, thank you, with SL I'll leave, he said seriously while he recreated in a magic circle. After the fallen one comes out, the others who were hiding out too. Gasu, stupid Azazel is considering us as members of Chaos Brigades, he said annoyed. Yasaka, don't worry, you have our support. I won't help the traitors, she said calmly. By the way, later on, he will tell us about Esperise, she said while saying goodbye to Lord Moon by shaking hands. Sailor Moon, we will gladly do it, she said calmly while showing her smile. When they finished exchanging greetings between Sailor Moon and the leader of Yasaka, the fallen one created a magic circle towards another faction. Meanwhile, Underworld Phoenix Clanonix Lord, how impossible is that, he said annoyed looking at his soldiers. Soldier, I don't know sir, that's all Thema. Lord Phoenix, I will leave now, he said as he went to see his wife and his 2 sons, one the oldest, one the youngest, and his second son left his house. Ravel, no, I don't believe that, it must be a lie, he said while crying while being hugged by his mother. Lady Phoenix, now calm down, she said while comforting her daughter. Lord Phoenix, I have a bad feeling about the problems, he said seriously. Ravel, me too, father, he said seriously. Meanwhile, the boys and the others. The boys and the others arrive at a fashion, but they realize. Issei, hey, we weren't supposed to arrive at the entrance of the Nordic faction, he said confused. Vali, damn, they already caught us, he said seriously. Odin, ha 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 ha, really you believed it, brat? I am the father of everything and I can see the stupid things you did and also who, He could not finish speaking Skolap already walk along with her other guardians. Where are the missing members? He said in his mind. Gasu, submitting is wrong, Odin-sama. Odin, I'm glad to see you again, he said calmly while showing his smile. Princess Serenity and her guardians. Chapter 3. Getting to know the supernatural world, Part 2. A group of people are seen in shock at the words of the Asgard leader. Odin, it's a pleasure to see you again, Princess Serenity and her guardians, he said calmly. Moon, you know US, she said surprised. Mars, are you an idiot, or did he say that he can see everything? Odin, I actually met you before the Moon Kingdom fell, he said calmly. Mercury, we've met before, she said curiously. Venus, I don't think so, she said curiously. Jupiter, I don't think we met. Soft, I don't have any memory of him, he said while his eyes were closed. Artemis, I remember now, you were still a young man, Odin-sama, he said calmly, making Odin a little angry. Odin, what do they say? I'm still in my prime, I said a little annoyed, causing a drop of sweat to fall all over him. Kisses, and can keep what they did to you, brat, he said seriously, boy. ISSCI, if they would. Gasu, so if he is supporting us, he said half seriously. Odin, that's right, boy. He can't finish his sentence some. Razor, I'm very sorry, but they belong to the cow's breeds, he said seriously while throwing a fireball towards Sailor Moon. ISCI, be careful, he said while dodging the attack with Sailor Moon. Due to carelessness, the brown-eyed boy falls to the ground and Sailor Moon above him. The brown-haired boy and the blonde Soman reason he can no see well since they look blurry. Memory of Issei. A young brown-haired boy was heading to the entrance of a white castle, but as he opened the door, it opened, and he saw a blonde girl in a white dress. Excuse me? End of memory. Sailor Moon Mimer to young blonde girl was heading to the castle entrance to get some air. But when she opened the door, she almost ran into a young brown-haired boy in a silver suit with a sword on his back. He said with a smile. End of memory. The brown-haired boy and the blonde were confused about what they had just remembered, but were interrupted by the fallen one. Gasu, idiot, get out of there, he said seriously. The brown-haired boy makes that one of the Phoenix Knights was going to attack him, and the brown-haired boy turns around with the blonde. Odin, could you tell me what you're going through now? He said seriously while with his eyes he made the signal for them to flee, and that was seen by the blonde and the brown-haired boy. Moon, damn, our plan failed, we must flee now, he said seriously while looking at his companions and the boys. Issei, you heard what our boss said, he said seriously while the fallen one made a magic circle, and that's where they went. Razor, I can't believe you betrayed us. Juban Temple, Tokyo. Once they retired from the Asgard faction, they arrived at the temple again. Issei, that was great, Serena, acting like a villain wasn't bad at all, he said surprised. Serena, that's the only thing that occurred to me, she said nervously. Lita, and now what are you going to do? She said looking at the young children. Gasu, we would have to go to the vampire faction, he said seriously. Vali, seriously we will go, but we can't go with them, he said seriously while pointing at the girls. I laughed, and that's because, she said curiously. Issei, you know what vampires do, he said calmly. They would attack humans to get their blood, he said calmly. Serena, it doesn't matter, we have to know all the races anyway, she said seriously while the other girls and cats agreed. Issei, ha 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 ha, he sighed. Okay, let's go, he said calmly. This is how the fallen one made the circle again to go to Romania where the vampire faction is, but the girls never thought they would be in a cold place. Moon, it's cold, she said while shivering while the other girls and cats who were dying of cold acknowledged. Gasu, here, he said while handing out sweaters to cover themselves from the cold. Vali, we have to go, he said seriously while walking. They all started walking until they reached a town. Mercurio, it's a very quiet place, there are no people and the sun is setting, she said calmly. Satyr, could it be that people have abandoned that town? She said curiously. Issei, they are sleeping, they will wake up soon, he said calmly. Besides, what hurts vampires? He said calmly as he saw that many people were leaving their homes. Neptune, you're right, but not everyone is looking, she said a little seriously. They had to go through the village to get to a castle, but once they got to the castle, the soldiers took them the wrong way and caused them to panic and raise their hands up. Soldier 1, who are you? He said seriously while stabbing his spears. Issei, wait a moment, he said with his hands up. I'm Hayate Issei the Security. Also Vali is Lucifer the Hakuryoku and the fallen angel Gasa Fullbuster, he said calmly while pointing to those mentioned. Soldier 3, and who are those humans? He said hungry because he wanted to devour him to suck his blood. Gasu, don't even think about doing something stupid, they are our friends and they are accompanying us, he said seriously while expelling a bit of his power. Soldier 2, yes, it's okay, he said nervously. But tell me why you came. Vali, we have come to see Queen Carmilla, he said seriously. Soldier, okay, let's continue, he said seriously. Once the soldier took him before the queen, once he reached the throne, everyone knelt down, including the boys and their companions. Queen Carmilla, what is the reason for your visit? Pillars of the Alliance and the fallen angel, she said calmly, and also who are they that are accompanying you? She said a little seriously while looking at the guardians. Gasu, they are our comrades who just met him, he said seriously while kneeling. While the boys were kneeling, the girls presented the Moon Princess, her guardians and her advisors in front of Queen Carmilla. Queen Carmilla, it's a pleasure to meet you girls, she said with a calm smile. Well, that's what you want, guys, she said calmly. Issei. The truth is that we have come to ask for help since the 3 biblical factions have betrayed us. We have already notified Asgard and Yukai of that, he said seriously. Queen, I can't believe it once I joined the Alliance and they do such stupid things, he said seriously and annoyed while EXDL and LA power. Sailor Mars, water, it's very scary, she said in her mind while she was nervous, making her other companions notice. Queen Carmilla, okay, young Issei. Thank you for letting me know, she said calmly. You can leave, she said calmly while the others get up. Issei, thank you very much, he said bowing as he left the room where the queen was sitting. Well, what are we going to do guys, he said as he looked at Vala and Gasu. Gasu, I don't know, we've already left with Asgard, yokai here with the vampires, he said curiously. Vali, and the Olympian gods, he said seriously. Gasu/Issei, don't think we're going to go there, he said scared. Issei, it's because he couldn't finish Beike Subion climbed on the chestnut causing him to fall to the ground. Moon, hey Gasu, who is she? He said whispering in her ear while the others paid attention. Gasu, she is an acquaintance of Issei, he said calmly making everyone surprised. Issei, hey it wounds. She looks like a doll, how cute. Everyone had that in mind except the cats. Nice to meet you, she said happily. So again each one introduced themselves when the vampire finished introduction herself and asked the reason she was here, so the brown-haired boy told her what happened. I can't believe it, she said annoyed, but I'm glad it's okay, she said happy. Issei, thanks, well we already finished what we came for so we'll see you another day he said while entering the magic circle that the Fallen One created. Tokyo Juban in the park. Saturn, it's getting dark, he said while looking at the sky. Gasu, okay, so now we HAVTO go find a place to go, he said tired. Mar, if you want I can give you a room in the temper, she said calmly. Issei, no, thank you very much. We don't want to both you, but we'll look for a place to stay, he said calmly. Uranus, well, up to here we separate to go to our house, he said while he detransformed with the others. Serena, look here, she said a little nervously as she gave him on piece of paper. Issei, it's your number, he said calmly WHIL. This is how each of them went to their homes, while the boys looked for a place. Chapter 4, Problems of the Traitors and the Legend of the Moon is Real. Human World Pendragon. Family house and in a mansion where the Pendragon family lived were the members of Vala and the family. Lord Pendragon, come on Arthur, tell me this is a damn lie, he said angrily. Arturo, it's true Issei is a member of Kao's brigades, he said seriously. Le Fei, that is a lie, Issei-sama would never do that, she said screaming angry while crying. Arturo, maybe he was playing with your feelings, he said seriously. Baiko, come on Arturo, there's no need for us to eat here, he said while trying to pull his partner. Le Fei, I hate you, I don't want to see you anymore, she said screaming while crying and leaving the room. Lady Pendragon, you saw what you just did, Arthur, she said angry as she followed her daughter. Lord Pendragon, okay Fenrir, get him out of here, he said annoyed while the wolf tried to bite him to get him out. Once the magician's father ordered Fenrir to take out the former members of Vala, causing the same wolf to get angry and make a noise like he wanted to bite him, causing them to leave the Pendragon house. The bearer of Excalibur was left looking at his home with his face full of sadness. Baiko, come on Arturo, there's nothing left but to go, he said a little sad for his partner while he pulled his partner as they were looking at their home. Ask our faction. An albino was entering her faction to see her grandmother, but something happened that terrified her. Ras YC, Grandma, I'm here, she said calmly as she entered her house. Grandma, I'm glad you came, she said seriously while sitting in the chair drinking tea. Ras YC, something's wrong, she said confused. Grandma, that should tell you what's on your mind, he said seriously. Ras YC, what are you talking about? I don't understand you, she said confused. Grandma, I found out that you betrayed your partner, he said seriously. Ras YC, because you care about him. Besides, he is a member of Kao's brigades, she said seriously. Grandma, follow me, she said seriously. Ko Academy. In the academy you see a black-haired girl with the glasses directing her club, and when she arrives she enters and sees all her peerage except one. Good morning Kaicho, he said a little seriously while greeting. Kaicho, something is wrong, he said a little worried because his Kaicho was serious. Sona, bad news came, she said seriously. And can we know the problem, she said calmly. Sona, yesterday I went home and my sister came home saying that 3 people had betrayed us, she said seriously. Tsubasa, and I can know who they are, he said not seriously. Sona, if they are valid, Lucifer Gasa Fullbuster and Issei Hayadu, she said seriously while her eyes were closed. Ruruko, what but why? Hayada-senpai said in shock. Tsubaki, they don't look suspicious, he said seriously while thinking. Ruruko, but what is it about? He said in doubt. Momo, Hayadu is a very loved person in all facts, she said thinking. Everyone was silent as they did not know the real answer. In the hidden club, a very nervous blonde boy was seen. Aisawa, damn, if I don't find security Raisadam-sama will kill me, he said in his mind, very nervous. Memory of Aisawa. The blonde was entering an almost abandoned place and meets a silver-haired boy. Tell me you already obtained the security power, he said with a smile. Aisawa, well, the truth is no, he nervous saidly. Sure, damn it, I gave you an easy job to do and you didn't do it. You have a weak to catch it. I'll kill you. Did you hear it? Now get out, annoyed scream. End of memory. Ask our faction. 2 people were entering a hall where the leader of the faction is sitting on a large throne. Odin, good thing you arrived on time, he said seriously with his eyes closed. Grandma, that's right, Odin Samus. I also brought what you asked for, she said seriously while kneeling. Odin, well, Valkyrie Ras YC, do you know why I called you? He said seriously. Ras YC, no, because, she nervous said calmly while inside she was because of Odin's gaze. Odin, you are banished from my faction for treason, he said seriously. Ras YC, because, she said scared. Odin, for betraying the security who is the pillar of the factions, he said seriously. Ras YC, but Odin-sama is a member of the Kao's brigades, she said desperately. Grandma, Odin-sama, now what will happen to them? She said seriously. Odin, we don't have to worry anymore, he said unseriously. Grandma, but Odin-sama, the 3 factions can find them and kill them, she said worried. Odin, they are in good hands, he said seriously. Grandma, in good hands, what do you mean, Odin-sama? She said confused. Odin, have you heard the legend of the Kingdom of the Moon? He said, not thinking. Grandma, yes, why? She said confused. Odin, it seems that the Princess of the Moon has awakened and her power will be able to purify the universe, he said calmly with his eyes closed. Grandma, Princess of the Moon, she said thoughtfully, don't tell me the legend of the moon was real, she screamed confused. Ross YC, hey, who is the princess and what is the Moon Kingdom? She said curiously. Odin, silence, Vidar, take him away. I don't want to see him here anymore, he said seriously with a firm voice while he saw his son entering the room. Vidar, yes father, he said with respect. The Valkyrie could no longer contradict and retreated to the human world and also told the entire Gremory clan what happened, things that they did not know because she branded her as a traitor and not the two celestial dragons and a fallen angel. Grandma, so that legend was real, she said surprised. Odin, yes, I met her when they were children, he said happily. Grandma, she was in a state of shock. Odin, but there is something that bothers me, he said seriously. Grandma, what's bothering you? She said seriously. Odin, if the princess woke up with her guardian and advisor, then where are the others? He said seriously while closing his eyes. Grandma, and who's missing? She curiously said. Odin, 3 warriors known as Star Warrior, said seriously. Grandma, and you know what his face looks like, she said seriously. Odin, for some reason I can't remember his face well, he said seriously. Grandma, and their guardians have an important position, she said seriously. Odin, yes, the warriors who are close to the princess, their duty is to protect the princess, he said calmly. Grandma, and what's missing? She said curiously. Odin, there are 3 brothers, the 3rd brother and the 2nd brother have a position to protect the princess and her older brother. The 1st brother is the princess's fiancé and the leader of that squad known as the Star Warriors, he said calmly. The Valkyrie who was there listening to the story was shocked as she never expected that story to be real. Chapter 5, Starting a New Life. Tokyo Juban House's rented dawn. A young brown-haired boy was getting up from his bed and begins to talk to the dragon. Issei, hey Drake, he said calmly but received no response. Wake up you damn lazy dragon, he said shouting. Drake, Warrior, what do you want? He said very sleepily. Issei, do you remember the memory MS? Drake, if you didn't put on the pervertist face, it's because she doesn't have up breasts like the stupid Gremory girl, he said with a neutral face. Issei, if you are the son of, he said annoyed but calm non-finish his sentence, as he was thinking about the memory that came to him. 11 The boy finished thinking. I decided to go down, and saw Vala watching TV while Gasu was making lunch. Issei, good morning guys, he said greeting. Beauty paid attention to him, making the brown-haired boy a little angry. But the mind of revenge comes to him. Hello hip lover and black crow, he said with a smile. Vala/Gasu, what did you call me? Breast lover, angry shout. Issei, okay, downs get angry, he said with a smile. Gasu, come on, have breakfast, he said calmly while serving the food since he knows that those two eat a lot and hardly leave him anything to eat. Sakino's house. In a room a blonde was sleeping and her cat advisors are trying to wake him up. Artemis, hey Serena, wake up now, he said while moving the blonde. Luna, leave it to me, I'm going to wake him up like this, she said as she approached and began to scratch the blonde's face. Serena, it hurts, she screamed in pain while her face was covered in scratches. What's wrong with you Luna, she said a little annoyed. Luna, you didn't even want to wake up anymore, she said as she got out of bed. Artemis, something's wrong Serena, she said with doubt as she sees the blonde looking out the window. Serena, nothing, just that what can't you know? I'm going to be late for class, she screamed as she got ready to go to school. Luna, ha, it never changes, she said with pity. The blonde said goodbye to her mother and went straight to school. But as she was walking she remembered that memory that came to her when she fell on top of the brown-haired boy. With that memory she was left in doubt. While the Issei boys had told him that they had to enter a new school. GSU, why don't you just leave it, he said seriously. Vali, hey, that idiot has already left, he said calmly. Gasu, I'm going to kill that idiot when I get there, he said annoyed while he had one hand covered in his face. The chestnut tree was walking on the street until he felt a chill. Issei, I feel like someone wants to kill me, he said with fear while feeling chills. At the Tokyo school, the blonde was standing at the entrance of the classroom. Serena, ha ha ha, she said with a sigh, why are you leaving me outside for a few minutes, eh? She was surprised as she saw the brown-haired boy entering the school. Why is Issei here? She said surprised. With Issei. He is arriving at the entrance of the academy. Issei, here I feel the complex of Sire, he said in his mind. The chestnut was entering more until he met her again. Serena, hello Issei, what brings you here? She said happily while waving. Issei, hi Serena, you know, I didn't expect you to be here, he said happily while returned the greeting. Serena, well, it could be a chance encounter, she said happily. Drake, idiot, even though you followed health, he said in the chestnut's mind. Issei, you better shut up, he said a little upset. Serena, Downs, wait, follow me here, the director, she said while grabbing the hand to guide the brown-haired boy towards the address. 11. The blonde accompanied the brown-haired boy to the office and filled out the papers for the 3 boys, things that the 2 of them were not going to like. 11. Recess arrived, the blonde's friends got together to talk. Mina, so Issei came to school to enroll, she said surprised. Ami, I didn't expect it. I hope we can get along, she said happily while reading a book. Lita, yes, let's hope we get along, she said happily. Serena, yes, but what I'm not certain about is which room it will be in, she said thoughtfully. After the girls' talks, they decided to return to their classrooms. Issei. The brown-haired boy is entering the house with the things he bought. Issei, I'm here, he said while leaving things on the table. Gasu, where did you go? I have seriously. Issei, I went to enroll in a school. I also enrolled you 2 lazy people, he said while pointing at the 2 boys. Gasu/Vala, what did you say? Annoyed scream. Next day. The 3 boys were at the entrance of the school, and when they went inside they all stared at each other. Girl, look at that handsome guy. I like albino guys, she said with a smile. Boys, shit, they're coming to take our girls away, he said angrily. After that happened, the 3 of them arrived at the entrance of their classroom and waited for the teacher. Serena. The blonde this time, which was strange, arrived early today and sat in her chair waiting for the start of classes. Serena, best, I feel very happy when I see Issei. It's like I want to spend more time with him, she said in her mind. Teacher, okay, students, today you are going to have 3 new classmates, he said while his class was going crazy. Serena, new friends, she said in her surprised mind. Teacher, okay, eat in guys, he said while looking at the door. After a minute the aforementioned boys came in, and on the other hand the blonde was surprised. Minako, wow, I thought it was going to take a while, she said surprised. Master, introduces yourself well, he said calmly. Issei, my name is Huda Issei, it's a pleasure to meet you and I hope we get along, he said calmly. Vali, my name is Vala Lucier, nice to meet you, I said a little seriously. Gasu, my name is Gasa Fullbuster, he said calmly. After the presentation, the 3 boys met up with the girls again, and then decided to go out to eat lunch together. AMI, so they played in the same room as Serena, she said calmly while eating. Lita, I thought it was going to take so long to get in, she said calmly while eating. Issei, I wanted to come today but those lazy people didn't want to, he said calmly while those mentioned got angry. Serena, because I feel like I want to be closer with Issei, she said in her mind while seeing Ami on her left and Mina on her right while the boys are in front. This is how it has ended. The girls entered the classroom, and the boys did the same during their classes. Everything was normal, and even their teacher asked them to join a club, things that the boys decided to join a soccer club, and the girls also entered the club, things that they did not tell the boys because they wanted to be taken by surprise. Chapter 6: Our Worst Mistakes. A week after the Betrayal Occult Club, Boy was sitting in an armchair with his face full of nervousness. Issei, damn, I ran out of the week that Rizavim-sama left me, and now what do I do? He said in his mind while he was nervous. Zenobia, okay, something's wrong, she said curiously since she saw that he was nervous. Rias, Issei is fine, she said while touching her cheek. Issei, shut up, damn you, he shouted furiously while slapping Rias. Akeno, but what's wrong with you? We only care about you, she said worriedly as she approaches her mistress, who is standing with hand on her cheek from the blow. Issei, if they were worried about me, they should have already found that damn security, or else Rizavim-sama will kill me, he said annoyed, but then he prefers you. All Rizavim-sama, he said in disbelief. Rias, what do you mean by that? She said annoyed. Issei, that's right, I'm a member of Kao's brigades. My mission was to weaken the damn security, but like bitches, since you don't know how to do your job well, he said seriously. The occult club realized their mistake, and even though they caught him, Rias spoke to her brother, when he arrived and saw Issei tied up and beaten. Sirs, what happened here, Rias? He said worried. Rias, we made a mistake, we betrayed Issei, who was not a member of Kao's brigades but the damn Issei, she said with tears. Sirs was speechless for a few minutes and then left with Issei. Sirs also announced about a meeting with the Alliance of Factions. Co-Academy at night. Several leaders from different factions were seen. Tell me why they called a meeting, he said seriously. Michael, Zeus Dano, we're talking about the traitors. Tell me, Zisser, what happened? Did they find the traitors? He said seriously while three leaders got upset. Who are the traitors? He said confused and serious. Azazel, they are the celestial dragons together with the fallen angel, he said seriously. Shiva, what? He said surprised and serious. Zeus, did they commit treason? He said seriously. Sirs, forget it, Michael, Azazel, they didn't betray us, but we were wrong, we betrayed three innocent people, he said depressed. Azazel, what do you mean? He said seriously. Sirs, Issei said the name with hatred, he was the true member of the Kao's brigades, said seriously while the leaders were surprised except for three leaders. Michael, I can't believe it, why do they wait? We have to send soldiers to look for them, and we ask for forgiveness, he said desperately and with hope that his sister would be happy. Memory of Angel Michael. The angel was seen arriving at his desk, and when he arrives he finds his sister where she is leaving her papers. Michael, what's wrong? Something is happening, he said not seriously because he saw his brother serious. Michael, well, Gabriel, I was just informed of a betrayal, he said seriously as he sat down. Gabriel, who is the person who betrayed the alliance? He said unseriously. Michael, that's right, it's Haida Issei, Vela Lucifer and Gasa Fullbuster. After a minute of silence, the angel Gabriel began to increase his aura, which even Michael began to be afraid of. Outside the room where Gabriel and Michael were some low-ranking angels who heard a sound. Palm. Things that alerted the angels, and they went to see the angel Gabriel coming out while crying, and the angels see the place where it was full of dust, and when the dust was leaving away you could see a person lying down. The angels, when they got closer, they realized that it was their leader, and on his face he had a bright red slap mark. What happened? Gabriel never believed that Issei betrayed him, since Gabriel sees Issei as a good and loving boy in addition to his secret love. End of memory. It's enough, leave it like that, you lost the right to be forgiven by the three of them, he said seriously. Azazel, but old man, you also betrayed him, he said worried. Queen Carmilla, they came to tell us about the stupidity they did, she said seriously. Zeus, what do you mean? I almost don't understand that meeting anymore, he said seriously because he didn't understand what he was saying. Yasaka, Zeus gave us what we want to say, that they committed a stupidity. They took the two celestial dragons and a fallen angel as a traitor, she said seriously. Zeus, what did you say? He said angrily. You know that I break the alliance with the biblical factions for treason, he said as he stood up and looked at the three biblical factions. Shiva, I also can't believe what they did, he said annoyed. Odin, me too, he said seriously as he stood up. Queen Camellia, we too, she said seriously while getting up. King Teeps, we too, he said seriously. Memory of King Teeps. King Teeps, what is your visit, Queen Camellia? He said while watching the queen entering the room. Queen Carmilla, I have come to tell you that the biblical facts betrayed the two celestial dragons along with a fallen angel, she said seriously. King Teeps, I can't believe what they did, annoyed scream. End of memory. Yasaka, I also offer an alliance to the Nordic vampire and Olympian faction to continue our friendship, she said seriously while looking. The mentioned, I accept the yokai faction alliance, I said seriously. The biblical facts WR speechless as the WR. Sirs, what have we done? He said depressed. Girls, it was our fault, she said crying. In Tokyo in the temple there was a group of girls laughing with 3 boys until one decided to change the subject. Michiru, by the way, I laughed, she said calmly while the aforementioned listers. I laughed, I feel you, she said calmly. Michiru, the Ohei day when we went to the land of vampires you got Rias when the replace of the leader of the vampire was there, she said curiously. Ray, don't even make me member, she said with little fear. Hakura, why do you say that? She said curiously. I laughed. I cat and evil witnesses that demanded blood Oris. Issei, upon reviving the message that we have been betrayed, she got upset, she said calmly. Hataru, and why are you so calm? She said curiously. Issei, we have felt a witness that is superior to Queen Carmilla, he said calmly. Gasu, that's why we've gotten used to strong complons, he said while grabbing Cheetos that the girls bought to have fun. The girls and cats were surprised as out of nowhere a girl appeared hugging Issei from behind, but on the other hand Vala and Gasu got a little chill and a little scared by the appearance out of nowhere, and the brown-haired boy collected the voice and gave him to smile. Issei, wow, I didn't expect to see you, Ophis, he said happily. Ophis, I found out what happened, he said lightly. Issei, yes, but leave it, nothing will happen, he said calmly. Ophis, they are looking for you to ask forgiveness, he said in a neutral voice. Vala, what do you mean, Ophis? I have seriously. Ophis, this Issei was a member of Chaos Briages, he said in a neutral voice. After she said about the situation the boys reel. Serena, hey Gasu, she said calmly while pulling on the short sleeve of the shirt. Gasu, what's up? He said curiously. Lita, who is she? She said while pointing at Ophis. Gasu, she is a dragon goddess of infinity. Her name is Ophis Ouroboros and she is one of the 10 most powerful identities which takes 3rd place, and her best friend is Issei, he said calmly. The girls and the cats were a little scared of her because in front of her she is a goddess, and she is the 3rd of the 10 strongest. After the scandal they decided to get along with Ophis. Chapter 7, A Reunion with the Moon Princess. Student Council Club. Black-haired girl was sitting reading sub-papers. Sona, ha 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 sigh. Momo, subject things wrong Kaicho, she said calmly while bringing a cup of coffee to her mistress. Sound, yesterday my parents told me that Hyo didn't actually betray the alliance, she said with her eyes closed. Tsubaka, what do you mean by that Kaicho, she said calmly but inside she was happy. Sona, that guy is Issei, whom Rias tried to give Issei's sacred gear, and to finish it off, he came to light saying that he was the member of Chaos Briages, she said seriously serious with her eyes closed. Everyone in the student council was shocked. Occult Club. A blond man was seen sitting on the armchair with a depressed aura. Saji, why did I do that? He said sadly. Saji's memory. A few days after the betrayal, the blonde was entering his club but noticed that everyone had a serious face. Saji, submitting is happening Kaicho, he said not seriously. Sona, I should ask you what's wrong with you, she said seriously. I heard that subbed our alliance, she said seriously. Saji, so now you know who the traitor is, he said seriously. Sound, the person who betrayed me is you, Saji. she said seriously. Saji, why me? He said desperately. Hey Momoruruko, is it Tuesday that I did not betray him? He said while looking at the aforementioned Momo. Of course, because you think you didn't come to the club that day, she said seriously. Ruruko, although you are my senpai, I never imagined that you would betray a person who helped you with the training, she said with sadness. Saji, because they care about him, and they are also members of Kao's brigades, he said desperately. Sauna, he would need to subdue like that, she said while standing up. From today on you will be expelled from my clan, she said Sarido serious demon, so get out of my sight. If I see you I will order you to be eliminated, she said seriously. Citri's former pawn no longer knew what to do and left the room, so the former pawn went to the Gremory clan and explained what happened and asked if he could join his clan, things that he has acceded with difficulty. Tokyo Jube and the three boys were training and they received news from their coach. Coach, in 3 days we will have our semi-final with Ko's Academy, so I hope you give it your best effort. Understood, he said seriously while looking at his students. All yes, we will do our best, he said determinedly. The three dragons realized that they were going to meet ES former friends again soon, but they didn't give it much importance and went to find the girls for lunch. Ami, so you're going to meet them soon, she said subshing term. Gasu, that's right, he said not seriously. Mina, oh, but if it's Umar, what do you want? She said happily. Yumino, I came to hand in his exams graded by the teacher, he said happily. Here, this one is yours, mine, he said while handing in the exam. Mina, what Aya, that social science teacher is so shocked, she said depressed. Umar, this is yours, Serena, he said happily while handing in the exam. Serena, let's see what. A 5 Aya, mom is going to punish me, she said while crying, and the others saw her with a drop of sweat on her head. Yumino, this is yours, Hayadu, he said while handing out the exam. Issei, oh, at 6.5 rating, he said calmly while the two blondes were in shock. Yumino, this is yours, Lucier, he said while handing it over. Vale, Jum A7, he said without importance while showing the exam. Umar, this is yours. GSU, I got A9, he said with superiority. Mina, and you, Umbino, how much did you get? She said curiously. Umar, I got an 8, he said depressed. On this I drop at 10, she said happily while showing the exam. Lida, Minako, Serena, Gasu, Issei, Vala and Umar were in shock since she was one higher. Time to go out. The Chestnut was seen walking with his hand full of a bag of food and head up with one of his new friends. Issei, but it's Hataru, he said calmly. Hey Hataru, I shouted at the girl. Hataru, turns around and sees the brown-haired boy. But it's Issei. Hello, she said happily. Issei, hello, was your day, he said calmly. Hataru, fine, and you, she said calmly. Issei, came from shopping, and the others said curious. Hataru, they had already gone ahead, she said calmly. Issei, yeah, he said calmly while having a forced smile. How beautiful it is when the cherry tree leaves fall, he said calmly while watching the leaves fall, and then he began to look at Hataru, which made him blush a little. Hataru, yes, she said calmly. She started looking at Issei, which made her blush. Note, switch to Setsuna with Issei. Hataru, what is that feeling and feel in my chest, said the mind after taking his eyes off Issei while blushing slightly. Issei, downs tell me that I already fell in love with her, he said in his mind after looking away at Hataru while blushing slightly. Drake, Lilicon don't tell me that one of his partners already wants to do it, LLLA, he said in the brownie chid boy's mind mockingly. Issei, shut your mouth lazy people, or, he said in his mind annoyed. One time the brown-haired boy and the girl arrived at the house of the three boys, and they went in to have fun as always. 3 days later. The academy was seen full of students since the day the semi-final of the match was going to take place. Issei, how do you feel, guys, he said calmly. Vali, nothing, he said calmly. Gasu, I'm just a little nervous, he said with a forced smile. Issei, Do you think the biblical factions will do stupid things? He said curiously. Valis/Gasu, I hope not, he said with a little concerns. Sound. JC was seen with the black hair sitting with her friends from the club. Sona, haha, it's been almost 2 weeks since the belayed them and they still dance. Far away from them are the leaders along with the Rias and Erch. Surzex, so you came Azazel, he said without enthusiasm when he saw the fallen angel. Azazel, if only he came to see those kids playing, he said tired. Rias, how stupid I am for trusting the words of that damn man, she said in her mind furiously, but don't worry, 11 we find you I'll do whatever I want, she said in her mind with LUS. I wait a few minutes when the commentator said the names of Kua's team and Teach and he said the names of Jubin's team things that the supernaturals were happy supplied the persons these were looking for was though. In the game. A happy blonde was seen since his opposing team was one of his best friends. Kiba, here is Issei-kun, he said happily. In the seats of the Ku Academy students, many of the students were seen in a state of shock. Murayama, that's impossible, how is Huda there? He said in surprise. Kates, no wonder she didn't come to class anymore, poor girls from that school, she said in disbelief. After good scandal they let the match continue, which was the Retin Academy winning and the Ku Academy losing and the players went to change. In the changing room. You can see many students shouting with victory. Mate, if you had brought the club in, we was already lost. He said happily while looking at the 3 boys. Partner 2, yes, you are right, he said happily. After good scandal, his fellow boys left and the 3 of them left his room and decided to walk outside. Issei, I finally found you, he said happily. Issei, and now what do you want, he said with annoyed voice. Rias, please eat back with us, she said happily while crying. Issei, of course not, he said as who turned Aranur and left. Rias, wait Issei, she said desperately. Zenobia, I don't mind cutting off your legs so you can't move any further, she said a little annoyed as she lunges to cut but is stopped. Croc. Urano, what are you doing? She said seriously while stopping the sword. Zenobia, damn you, get out of here, she said annoyed making a horizontal cut causing her to go backwards. What's wrong? I have seriously. Rias, Anasama I don't know, she just suddenly appeared and attacked him. Surzex, who are you? I have seriously and behind him was the leader of the fallen and his partner Seraphal. Note, ignore Rini. Azazel, who are you? I have seriously. Surzex Seraphal Azazel, wait you said Moon Princess, shout in shock. Chapter 8, Those Memories Again, Part 1. Tokyo Jubin the leaders were seen in shock while Sub did not understand it. Rias, Anasama, which means she is the princess of the moon, she said confused. Zerzex, there is a legend about the princess of the moon, but I never thought it was actually real. He said a little seriously. Azazel, they said that his power was almost equal to or greater than that of a seraph and that his energy is purer than that of a seraph, he said a little seriously. Sona, I don't understand what you mean Zerzex-sama, she said confused. Rias, well that doesn't matter Issei come back with us, she said hopefully. Issei, of course not, you betrayed me and not only me but also Vala and Gasu, he said seriously. Moon, I don't want to have any serious problems with you, we kindly ask you to leave, she said seriously while looking at Rias. Rias, you shut up, don't give me orders, she said annoyed while she saw that the other guardians were upset by the way she spoke to their leader. Zerzex, you better control yourself, he said seriously. Urano, you heard me, my boss told them to leave, she said seriously. Rias, if you are a cursed one, she said angrily and could not finish because she was stopped by her brother. Zerzex, we are retreating, he said seriously as he created a magic circle and retreated. Issei, I'm sorry for giving you trouble, he said tired. Moon, it's nothing after that you are our friend, he said happily. More, wow, this time you really acted like a leader, she said happily. Moon, don't even say it, My legs were shaking with fear, he said with a little fear. Vali, well, we have to go, he said while looking at the warriors who were detransforming. Haruka, yes, let's go, she said happily. 3 days after the meeting. A blonde girl was seen walking to go buy the things her mother asked her for, but on her way she meets him again. Serena, hello Issei, she said waving as she approaches. Issei mmma, but it's Serena, hello, how are you, he said happily. Serena, well, a little bored since today is Saturday, she said a little discouraged. Issei, and what are you going to do today, he said curiously. Serena, well, I was going to go buy the things my mom asked me for, she said happily. Issei, that's good, I'm going to buy things too since because of 2 people everything is spent, he said with a forced smile while remembering his empty refrigerator. Serena, so how about we go together, she said happily as she grabs his arm and pulls it, but as she thinks of pulling it, a memory comes to her. Memory of Serena. The blonde girl was sitting in a garden watching the stars, but then she heard a voice. Hello princess, I see you are taking a break from your studies, huh, he said as he approached the blonde and gave her a kiss. End of memory. Serena was pulling Issei, but he is still confused because 2 different memories came to him, and he couldn't see that person's face well. Memory of Issei. He was a chestnut walking towards a garden and sees the princess sitting on a bench. Don't even say it, I didn't have a little time to rest later, he said with a little discouragement, while receiving a kiss. End of the memory. The brown-haired boy was also confused as he also had 2 different memories, and he also had doubts as he could not see the face of that person either. Serena and Issei were entering the Orera warehouse to look for the necessary things, and they also began to laugh and have fun until Issei asked her about a person. Issei, by the way, what happened to him? He said curiously. Serena, you mean him, she said a little annoyed. He was just starting to say that it was a joke and that he actually loved me, she said with disgust. Issei, how bad this guy was crazy, he said with laughter. Issei and Serena look at each other, and then start laughing once they finish shopping. The 2 of them left to go to Serena's house and then go to the boy's house. Vali boy's house. He was cleaning the room where they were going to be with Michiru. Vali, because I feel uncomfortable next to her, he said in his mind while looking at her. Albion, just one thing, okay, you like her, right? He said with a smile. Vali, shut up, I'm not like Issei, he said in his mind, a little angry. Michiru, ready, I'm done. I'll go to Kya. She couldn't finish the sentence because she fell on top of Vali. Michiru and Vali stared at each other, but at the same time they were reminded of things that made them confused. Memory of Michiru. A girl with blue-green hair was seen talking. Have you seen the princess? He said calmly. End of memory. The blue-green hair was confused because an unknown memory came to her, and she could not see the face of that person. Memory of Vali. A silver-haired boy in his silver suit was seen approaching a moon warrior. I haven't seen it, and you, she curiously said. End of the memory. The silver-haired man was also confused by the memory that came to him, and he also couldn't see the face of that person well. Then they realize the position, they both blush and get up quickly and decide to let it go as if it hadn't happened. In the kitchen. You could see 2 people making food. One was making something to eat for everyone and another was making cake. Gasu, I'm done with the food, he said calmly. Lita, also the cake, she said calmly. Gasu, he just stands behind Lita to grab some ingredients. Lita, she didn't know that the black-haired man was behind her, but she decides to turn around and accidentally puts her face close to the black-haired man. The 2 people stare at each other, their faces almost close, but in a second a memory comes to them. Memory of Lita. A girl was training, but then she is interrupted by a black-haired guy. I see that little by little the result is coming to you, said a boy in a silver dress calmly. End of memory. Memory of Gasu. A black-haired boy was seen walking towards a training room in the Moon Palace and finds a girl in a green suit which she is training, and he interrupts her training. "AAA, I couldn't do it before," the girl replied, tired from training. End of memory. Both of them were also confused because that memory had never come to them, but then they decided to leave it as if it had never happened. After an hour of preparing, everyone was gathering to begin their fun. Chapter 9, That Memory Again, Part 2. In the afternoon, at Serena's house. The girls were gathered but not the boys, since Serena asked them to meet to talk in private. Serena, lately I have had 2 strange memories, she said with her eyes closed. Michiru, so also, she said seriously. Haruka, what do you mean by that, Michiru, she said seriously. Michiru, I also got a strange memory, she said seriously. Lita, and not just you two, it happened to me too, she said curiously. Luna, when did that happen, or did he see something that made you remember? She said calmly while Artemis nodded. Serena, the first thing I remember happening is when I fell on Issei's side, and the other is when I pulled his arm when we were going to the Orera winery, she said calmly while putting her finger on her lips. Lita, it happened to me when I accidentally put my face near Gasu, she said calmly while her cheek blushed slightly. Michiru, it happened to me when I fell on Vali, she said calmly. Luna, all those guys, but I don't remember if we met her before or if we did, she said curiously. Artemis, but Serena, what memory do I get to you? He said calmly while pointing at Serena. Serena, well, my first memory was when we met Odin. It was when I fell on top of Issei, and I remembered when I was going to the entrance, and when I opened the door I almost ran into a boy wearing a silver suit, she said calmly while everyone there paid attention. Luna, a boy in a silver suit, she said curiously. Artemis, and you didn't see his face? He said calmly. Serena, no, her face looked blurry, she said with her eyes closed and her arms crossed. Ami, and the funny thing is, you said you were going to open the door. Isn't it the Kingdom of the Moon? She said curiously. Serena, if I'm honest, the hallway I was walking through looks like the castle in Moonlight Kingdom, she said calmly. Hataru, that's strange, a boy in a silver suit and the hallway that looks like the Moon Kingdom, she said while she was thoughtful. Mina, but you said what the second memory is, she said calmly. Serena blushes hard. I laughed. What's wrong with that face? She said curiously. Serena, the second one was when I saw that boy and she said with a red face while trying to finish her sentence. I was kissing him, she said with a red face. I laughed. Maybe these are your usual dreams, she said with a neutral face, since she knew that Serena dreams when she wants to kiss. Everyone's sweat dropped at the comments of Riley and Serena. Luna, well, what about if we go to Michiru's? She said calmly while pointing at the aforementioned. Michiru, what I remember is that I was looking for someone, but I also met that boy. I couldn't see his face either, she said thoughtfully. Artemisa, if I'm honest, I don't know who that person is, he said confused. And you're Lita, he said calmly. Lita, I only remember when I was training and that person in the silver suit also spoke to me, she said calmly. Luna, what's going on? She said confused. With the boys. The 3 boys were seen with a face that seemed to be what they were doing. Gasu, they looked at Issei already Vala with a serious face, and then changed their gaze to his hand which has a deck card. Vali, does the same as Gasu. Issei, does the same as Gasu and Vala. The 3 of them looked at each other with a serious face until one of them broke the silence. Gasu, I win with 6 points, he said with a superior and mocking smile, while showing his cards, and was going to grab money but is stopped. Vali, not so fast, my friend, he said with a mocking smile and showed his card. I win with 9 points, he said with a laugh, and was going to grab the money but was stopped. Issei, hey, not so fast, I didn't even tell you my points, he said, slightly annoyed. I win with 10 points, he said with a mocking smile. Gasu/Vali, damn it Issei, you've already played almost 5 games and you've won those 5 and you're taking all of our money, annoyed scream. Issei, I even played chess with Sona and I even beat her, he said calmly. But there's something I want to talk about, he said seriously, drawing the attention of the others. Lately I've had strange dreams, he said seriously. Vali, It's probably because you can't see your breast anymore that you're having strange dreams, she said with a mocking smile. Issei, I don't mean that, he said with an angry look. I mean that I've had 2 weird dreams and that dream was always about the same girl, he said seriously. Besides, I can't see her face well, things that Drake doesn't understand. He says that I haven't had a dream, he said seriously. Drake, it's true, I've already checked my memories but I don't see what you're telling me. Maybe it's something private, he said with doubts. Gasu, and what kind of dream have you had? He said curiously. Issei, the first time I dreamed was that I was entering a palace and the planet Earth could be seen, and when I was entering I almost ran into that girl that I can't even see her face well, he said thoughtfully. And the other is when I was kissing her, he said calmly while looking at the ceiling. Albion, could it be that you have that kind of dream and that you want to kiss someone? He said with a mocking smile. Vali, it's not just Albion, but the same thing happened to me. I had a dream when I met a girl and she told me she was looking for something, he said seriously. Albion, when did you dream like that? He said confused. Fafnir, that's strange, I suppose White and Red couldn't see that dream, he said seriously while those mentioned agreed. Gasu, so you too, he said seriously while calling the attention of the others. I also had that dream, it was when I met that girl who was training, he said seriously. Fafnir, that's weird, he said calmly while everyone agreed. Issei, well, how about we keep playing, he said calmly while smiling and arranging the cards so they can play. Vala/Gasu, go, but this time I will win, he said determinedly. Half an hour later, Vala and Gasu were seen shouting. Vali, damn you Issei, because you win again, annoyed cry. Gasu, damn you, angry shout. I ran out of money and you're worth it, he said with contempt. Vali, either, he said annoyed while looking at the empty wallet. Issei, he had a mocking smile as he gathered the money and put it in his pocket. In an unknown place, a black-haired boy was seen walking with an angry face. Damn you, that damn dream won't leave me alone because I remember a stranger in a silver suit who is protecting the Princess of the Moon, he said annoyed while grabbing his head. So you remember that too, huh? He said angrily. Who are you? He said angrily while looking at the place. We've already faced each other once, and you don't remember me, she said seriously while appearing in front of him. Impossible, you are Queen Beryl, he said angrily and without believing it. Beryl, long time no see, Prince of the land of Darien, he said it would be. Chapter 10, A Visit from the Future and a Little Problem. In the year 2030. In space, the place is the moon. On that moon there was a castle, and inside in a large room there were 2 people sitting in an armchair. A woman with silver hair and a white dress, and on her head she wears a crown, and is sitting next to her husband. Her husband has a silver suit on his back, he carries his sword and is sitting while holding his wife's hand. Everything is very calm, she said calmly while giving her husband a smile. Yes, after so many sacrifices, peace has finally arrived, he said calmly as he stands up and goes to the window. But I have a feeling that something bad is going to happen, he said calmly. Would you do me a favor, young man? He said calmly as he saw a young yokai. Young yokai, yes my lord, he said firmly while waiting for the order. I need to gather the warriors and my brothers, he said calmly. Yokai, yes my lord, he said calmly as he went to look for those mentioned. A few minutes passed and the same young man who had received the order returned with the others that his lord had asked for. Yokai, here is my lord, he said calmly. Thank you, he said with a smile. Why did you call us here? Said a boy with black hair and a silver suit in a calm manner. Well, you see, it's because I feel that it's time for the girls to go back in time, isn't it, honey? He said not seriously. If it is also better to give us news from the past about what happened that day, he said, not serious. So the time has come, he said. It would be a girl with green and navy blue hair. Well, I'll go get the girls, he said calmly. After he said he was going to go get the girls, he went straight to a room, and when he opened it, that happened. A minute before I got to the room, there were some girls studying, which makes some of them sleepy. Ha ha ha, why do Otosan make us study? She said, bored, which brings an appearance almost like her mother. But with that study you will help us a lot, said a boy who has black hair and wears glasses. You take everything seriously, said a girl with long blonde hair, a little bored. Want Sama play with me, said a girl with purple hair. Yes, of course you want to play, said a happy girl with black hair. Comb your hair, said the purple-haired girl with a smile. She only turned a little pale as she remembered how she left her hair the last time, almost ruined and painted. Well, what does it matter? Let's go, said the girl with black hair with a forced smile. Some were bored, some were studying, and two were playing until someone opened the door. Otusan, said the purple-haired girl as she went to hug her father. Hello, my girl, what are you doing? He said happily while carrying her. Combing one, Sama, she said happily. Who will comb her hair? He couldn't finish his sentence because he saw one of his daughters with her hair adorned with flowers. You look very good, he said happily. Wow, I thought he was going to leave me just like that day, he said with a forced smile as he remembered how they had left him before. Otusan, what did he come for? He curiously said. Being locked up is already boring me, he said, boring. Well, girls, your mother will be waiting in the underworld, so go while I talk to the chibi sailors, he said calmly. Girls, yes, Otusan/Uncle San, she said happily. Otusan, why does he want to talk to us? She said curiously while they were in her father's arms. Let's go with your mom, he said happily while walking, carrying, and in his other hand he held his daughter's hand. He was accompanying his niece and daughter until he came to a room where everyone was. Wow, I know it took them a while, he said happily while hugging his daughter. And where are the other girls? He said curiously. I told him that they are waiting in the underworld, he said calmly. I see, it's better so they don't hear that conversation, he said calmly. Otusan, what did he want to talk to us about? Said a curious girl with navy green hair. Tell him he has to know anyway, he said calmly. You see, we have a mission to go to the past but with some rules, he said calmly while looking at the girls. That's right, said a green-haired girl, the answer is easy, you don't have to say anything about the future or you'll change the past, she said calmly. You might as well do it, she said calmly while looking at a girl while nodding. Sure, he said calmly as he increased his magic to make the door appear. Okay, come in, now you know what you have to do, he said calmly. Yes, Otusan, she said calmly as she entered the door with the other girls. All the girls, see you soon, Okasan, she said calmly as she closed the door. Do you think they'll be able to do it? He said calmly. Red is right, he said calmly. I also see him very calm, he said calmly. I trust that they, Drake, Albion Fafnir, said the happy girl. Current time. The girls and boys were seen sitting in a park while eating ice cream. Everything was going calmly until they heard an explosion. The girls transformed to see what was happening. Venus, what's happening? She said a little worried. Moon, we will go and find out, he said it would be. Come on, give me all your energy, he said with a serious voice. Issei, what is that strange thing? He said surprised. Mars, those are some of the Queen Burly's army, he said it would be. Vali, they are one of the army of such Burly, making you lose your lives is not like that, he said seriously. Jupiter, that's right, she said seriously. Gasu, well, what are you waiting for? We have to destroy it, he said seriously. Mercery, girls, we have to open a hole in his chest to destroy the core, she said calmly while investigating her enemy. They all agreed and went towards her to attack, and to finish Sailor Moon gives the final attack. Girls, yes, we did it, she said happily. While celebrating his victory, out of nowhere a strange circle appeared. Things that alerted them and girls fell. Things that the girls should be confused as well as the boys. Ouch, that hurts, she said a little upset. Hey Rini, have you really gained weight? He said annoyed. Rini, look who's talking, if it's you who eats sweets, she said annoyed. Vali, who are you? I have seriously. The girls, seeing the situation, get up as if nothing had happened, cash everyone to break out in a sweat. On the other hand, a dark green-haired girl was seen walking while she had a grocery bag in her hand. Setsuna, Damn it, Sems, the seal is weakening. What can I do so that no one remembers them? She said seriously in her mind. Ha ha ha, sigh. What else can I do, Prince? She said in her mind while look at the sky. Memory of Setsuna. Thousands of years August. On a battlefield there was a hole in the ground which caused destruction. When the forces collided, you see the door of time appear and open, and a girl comes out in her suits like Salia Plut. Plut, what could have happened here? She said seriously. She just stood there looking around until she noticed the person she found lying down. Plut, wait, yes, not the prince, she said worthy as she went towards the prince. What happened? She said, a little scared. Plut, tell me, he said sadly. And I want you to remember all the memories that we spent together. Even the others who knew us don't let memorize me nor want. My brothers, he said with difficulty breathing. Plut, but if you do it, it will be. He could not finish his sentences. The person put his finger on his lips. He said with difficulty breathing. The last phrases he said were so hard to understand, and while he closed his eyes and took his last breaths. Plut, she just closed her eyes and then decisive to leave the body while watching it disappear. End of the memory. She was remembering what happened that day until she arrived at the temple and opened the door, causing her to enter in confusion, since in front of them were the girls along with the boys and the cats, and next to them were the girls. Chapter 11. A Feeling is Born. Is it Love or Friendship? Part 1. In a temple in Tokyo, in a room there was a very uncomfortable silence until Sybil broke the silence. Setsuna, let's see you. Serena, well, the truth is that when they fell we were surprised, she said calmly while remembering what happened. Before minutes, the girls were seen together with the boys in an awkward silence until one of them broke the silence. Serena, shvai Rini, she said while crying and went to hug. Rini, hey, my aunt told me not to say anything about the future. How does she knows else is wrong, Mom? She said with a forced smile. Boys/dragons, Mamaya, he said in disbelief. Drake, wow, it seems like someone already took your girl away, he said in his mind with a mocking smile. Issei, shut up or I'll take you to time at, angry shouting making Drake tremble in fear. Drake, forgive me, I scream in fear. Issei, so she's your daughter, huh? He said calmly as he approached Serena, whom he was hugging. Artemis/Moon, Diana, she said surprised. Mercury, why don't the others show up? She said calmly. Rini, hi girls, let's introduce ourselves, she said calmly while looking at the other girls. I'm Rini, I'm a Sailor Chibi Moon apprentice. I am Rem, I am a Sailor Chibi Neptune apprentice. I am Jessica, I am a Sailor Chibi Pluto apprentice. Note, okay, just think that she is in her warrior suit. Venus, so you are a Sailor South apprentice, she said surprised. And Dimin, you see Sailor Moon is the little lady. Does that mean we will be together soon? He said calmly while looking at everyone from Leho. Rini, hey, who is that? She said with a forced smile. Mars, that means he is not his father. Who would it be? She said surprised. Issei, you see she is no longer your daughter, he said seriously. And Dimian gets angry and walks away. Gasu, well, what are we going to do? He said calmly. Grrrrrrrrr. A sound was heard very loudly and everything looks towards a person. Q, I'm sorry, I'm hungry, she said aggridassed. Moon, why don't we eat together? She said calmly. Current minute. Setsuna just sighs and you decide to leave that for late and decide to have a little fun. Lita, now that the girls have come, we're going to have to bum more things, so you guys go get those things, she said calmly while giving him a list. This is how they increased the fun even more, so one of them sent the boys to bring sub things. Vali, you had to eat, play girls from the future. Issei, well, I don't mind going shopping, he said calmly. Vali, if only because you are an obedient little boy, he said mockingly. Issei, it's not true, I'm not a little boy, he said angrily. Vali, then why do you obey, he said mockingly. Issei, I just do it so they don't get angry, in fact we've danced. Vali, oh so scared of women, he said with a mocking smile. Gasu, Issei is right, what's more, you don't even know how angry Gomen get or if they do, he said calmly. Albion, ha 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 ha, and the blonde girl, he said with a smile. Val. Memory of Val. A silver-haired boy was seen eating ramen while sitting on a stone. Valley, delicus, how I like ramen, things that Lavinia and Lefay don't let me I have, he said calmly while eating. What, Lavinia and Lefay? She said calmly, but inside she was angry. Valley, he just got scarred. Lavinia, and you said it right, she said with a sinister smile. Valley, well he said nervously. Please. Platinum was seen rubbing his head while a bump was coming out, and Lavinia had her fist giving the signal that she was the one who hit him. Lavinia, I told you not to eat those, she said angrily. Valley, hell, he doesn't even let me eat in peace, he said in his mind. Albion, I told you that females are more dangerous than makes, he said calmly in his mind while holding back laughter. Vala, I wish you could get out of there so I could beat you up, he said angry in his mind. End of memory. The platinum was seen trembling a little. Issei, your face tells me that subject similar happened, he said calmly. Vala, shut up, he said angrily. Another side in the Pendragon mansion. Nervous blonde boy was seen in front of a mansion since that day he was forcibly taken away by his parents. Arturo, good, he said calmly as he enters the mansion. Arturo had already entreed and went to look for his parents in the living room, but when he arrived his parents were not there. Arturo, hey, what about my parents? He said calmly as he looked at a servant. Servant, they are sitting in the garden, he said serious. Without wasting time, Arturo went to look for his parents until he found them. Lord Pendragon, and what do you want? I have seriously. Arturo, well, you see, he said nervously. With the girls and Retin Tokyo, a group of girls and boys were seen together with the girls having fun until one of them accidentally said subject that bothered one of them. Valley, with that strength you have, you won't get a man to love you, she said, not very jokingly, while she saw Lita, who had accidentally broken sub-glass cups. Ran away. Serena, hey wait Lita, she said worried. I laughed, hits Vala on the head. That's what you get for making her angry, she said angrily. Vala, rubbing his head. Albion, I told you Vala, females are more dangerous than makes, said in Vala's mind. Amy, we have to go look for, she said worriedly. They all agreed to the idea of looking for her, even the boys. After a few minutes, and no one had found her until one of them found her. Issei, there is, I have to call him, he said in a low voice while looking from behind a tree, seeing that she is sitting on a bench. I already found him. Eat quickly, he said this the magic circle call. Lita, he said calmly while trying to get closer. Lita, what are you doing? Leave me alone, she said with a broken voice while sitting on a bench. Issei, I won't leave until I vent, he said calmly as he sits next to her. I'm all yours, so tack out, who almost waned to cry. Lita, I 11 had a boyfriend, but one day I decided to challenge me to karate duel, but in a friendly way, as a coupling, not as an ops. I do not deal to be happy, skill use of my brutal strength that I have. The girls and boys along with the cats and girls had already arrived, and I was hiding while listening to the conversation of the two of them. Issei, you will die for me, no one will love you, even stupid people like you. He accidentally remembers the phrase again. You are not the only one who's suffocated for love, he said sadly while looking at the sky. Lita gets angry. And what do you know about love? Nothing, boys are always stupid guys who do what they want, she screams while she was angry and crying without getting up from the bench. Issei, I have died 11, he said sadly. Lita H. Issei, I was tricked by a fallen angel disguised as a girl. One time she invited me and I went out with her, and when the sun was setting she showed her true form. Beach was a fallen angel, and she told me sub-phrases which Remed marked in my memory, he said sadly while crying. Lita, and what is the phrase? She said sadly. Issei, that he would die for her, and that he would. Lita, she is surprised. Issei, And the answer to how I'm alive is scholars reincarnated me, making me her slave, and to end up she betrays me even though I secretly loved him for fear that it would happen again like that fallen angel, but I ended up doing the same, he said sadly while crying. That's why. He can't finish his sentences since Lita got up to hug him. Lita, I'm sorry I made you remember that pains, she said sadly while hugging. The girls along with the cats and the girls were surprised as they never imagined the cruel life that Issei went through. Mina, what has say is true, she said surprised while looking at the boys. Gasu, yes, I also heard the rumor that he was killed by a fallen angel and was revived by a demon. At first I thought it was a joke, but when I asked him directly, he said calmly while closing his eyes. I confirmed to me that it was real, he said calmly while opening his eyes. Setsuna, and your value, she said curiously. Vali. At first I thought that demon reincarnated Issei alive, but when the leader of the fallen angels told me that he was killed by a fallen angel, I didn't believe, said calmly. Issei, don't worry, I'm used to it. It's not just me but also Vala and Gasu, he said calmly. Gasu/Vali, don't even think about saying it, you idiot, he said angry in his mind. Lita, what do you mean? She said surprised. Issei, well, what Vala told me, I'm a revenge with a desire to fulfill it. I've had a mother whom he loved very much, but his mother had told him that she was raped by a descendant of Lucifer. But his mother did not care, she raised him and loved him. One day the demon became fond of Vala and his mother, which his mother forgave him, and they became a happy family. But what nobody did is that his grandfather, that is, the father of that demon, was upset that his became soft with those things and that he managed to kill his father, and Vala with anger woke up Albion, and was the one who gave him the power to escape with his mother, and that is where he found his new life that he met the leader of the fallen angels. Vali asked the leader of the fallen angels to erase his mother's memory so that he can have a new life, and the leader raised Vala and trained him until now that he was December. Not only Vala was branded as a betrayal but along with Gasu already he said calmly while looking at the sky. Some of them wanted to cry for the cruel fate of Issei and Vala, and one Ned to beat them up. Mina, I never expected that it was also cruel, Vali, she said trying not to cry. Michiru, that was cruel, she said sadly. Haruka, I just hope he stops wanting revenge, she said doubtfully. Vali, I won't leave her until that bastard is dead, he said angry. You'll pay for this, Issei, he said angrily in his mind. Issei, now the thing about Gasu, well, it's almost the same as Vali, and Gasu has said, he's a fallen angel, his mother was a human and his father was a subordinate of the leader of the fallen. That fallen angel left his mother pregnant, and he disappeared and never returned to her. She knew that her had a great hatred towards his father, but she didn't want to say it. 11 She street privately and told me who her father from Gasu was and that I should try to keep him as far away as possible. But she told me about an illness that she can't tell her son. She told me what her illness was, but after a day she died, she said sadly. Lita, what was your illness? She said sadly and curious. Issei, she got blood and bone cancer, he said sadly. She asked me to tell him that she died by accident. She didn't want Gasu to know about her illness. She told me that since was a child she was sick, he said sadly. Lita, she just started sadly. Gasu, he was just crying for the things his mother hid from him. While the girls, except the cats and the boys together with the girls, began to feel a warm feeling, and at the same time a strong sadness that even made them feel a pain in their chest. Issei, although for some reason I considers you two as rivals and sometimes as brothers, he said with a forced smile. Lita, I think it's better to go since I made him worry a lot about me, she said while standing up. Issei, yes, we have to go, he said with a smile as he and Lita leave the park. Serena, I think they forgot about us, she said, a little angry. All yes, I said a little angry. Issei and Lita had already retreated to Rei's temple, and while the Forgotten Ones left through the magic circle, Lita and Issei arrived at the temple, and when they opened the door they realized that they were angry. Issei, and now what happened? Why are you angry? He said curiously. I laughed. What do you mean? She said, slightly annoyed. Serena, they forgot about us, she said, a little upset. Issei, they realized what Serena said. Oh wow, since they didn't arrive we had to leave, he said with a forced smile. Lita, yes, maybe they were spying on us, she said with a mocking smile. All get nervous. Mina, not like you thought, we just arrived at the park and you weren't even there, she said nervously. Issei, well, what do you think if we continue the fun, he said with a forced smile. With the girls? They all looked together while arguing. Rini, I didn't think Mom already knew my name, she said curiously. Q, yes, and that surprised me, she said surprised. Rory, hey, what if we make a bet? He said with a smile. Jessica, what are you talking about? She said confused. Rory, come on, we're all sisters and cousins. Look, Jessica along with Kotobuki and I, and Rem along with Suzumiya and Yusa. And you, Rini along with Q and Sanan. We're betting on who kisses Otosan first, she said with a smile. Diana sighs. That was the part. The girls bet very seriously without realizing the consequences that this bet would bring. Chapter 12. A Feeling is Born. Is it Love or Friendship? Part 2. Tokyo Juban at the temple. Everyone was gathered after the problem that Lita went through until she even apologized for making them worry. Serena, well, it's very late. I have to go or else my mom will scold me, she said bored. I laughed. What will happen to the girls? He said in doubt. Gasu, it's better that he stays at Haruka's house since no one apart from us knows about the supernatural thing, he said calmly. Haruka, that's right. Only Mikura Hataru and Setsuna live, she said calmly. Issei, well, I'll leave it to you, he said calmly. Michiru, okay girls, follow me, she said calmly. The girls followed Michiru, who put things in Haruka's car that luckily fit everyone since Setsuna and Michiru also got along with Haruka, Hataru and the girls in the car, and they went to their house. Serena, wow, they're gone, she said calmly while looking at the car. Ami, well, I have to go home, she said calmly. Bye girls, she said. Girls, yes, I'll see you later, she said calmly. I laughed. Well, you have to go now, she said calmly. Serena, if we see each other we'll laugh, she said calmly. Boys, bye Ray, he said calmly as he followed the girls. Once everyone was going to their houses, the girls who were walking with the boys were Serena and Lita and Minako along with Issei, Gasu and Vala. Together they were talking and laughing, and when they reached the street which everyone has to separate Serena, Lita and Minako towards their house and the boys, while they lived together in a rented house, and when they arrived everyone waited for a new day. The next day, the boys were walking to school until one of them stopped and asked the boys to go forward. They listened to him, and the brown-haired boy stayed talking to a person. Issei, it's very rare that the goddess of the night comes here, he said calmly. Hello security, I just came here to clear my mind, she said proudly. Issei, he just stares and a memory of a person comes to him. Tsundere, you are just like Ravel. By the way, I haven't seen Ravel yet. Sona, he said in his mind. Well, it's very strange that Nyx comes here, he said calmly. It's more like how could you lower her power? I didn't even feel it until now, he said curious. Nyx, gee, don't underestimate a goddess, she said proudly. Issei, well, if you're just going to waste time, I'm leaving, he said calmly while walking. NYX. Triple A, wait, she said a little uneasy, making the brown-haired boy stop. ISSCI, what's wrong? He said curiously. NYX, I heard that you had been betrayed, she said calmly while the brown-haired boy nodded. When you were betrayed many things happened, she said it would be little. ISSCI, why does a goddess like you care about your enemy? He said surprised. NYX, blushes slightly, it's not true, take care of yourself since you don't belong to any faction. They would take you as a perfect shot to eliminate you, she said it would be a little. ISSCI, that's right, I lost my protection but I'm not alone anymore, he said calmly, surprising the goddess. I'm allied with a faction that no one has here's name, he said calmly. NYX, and what is it? She said confused. Issei, it is known as the Kingdom of the Moon. Nyx. After talk between the celestial dragon and a goddess, Issei arrives at the classroom, but unfortunately he arrived late, and the teacher left him outside. Serena, I'm still surprised at you. Issei, I was talking to a girl, he said calmly. Serena, so talking to some girls, huh? She said with her eyes slightly closed and looked at Issei. Issei, something's wrong, he said with a little fear in his eyes. Maybe she's already jealous, he said in his mind. Serena, nothing, she said a little angry with her cheeks swollen while looking to the other side. Issei, only a drop of sweat falls. After spending their minutes of punishment, they both then enter the classroom and their class. She just stared at a person. Issei, I think some Drake, it won't be a spy for those factions, he said in doubt through his mind. Issei, haha, I already want recess to arrive, he said bored until he finally heard the bell and the brown-eyed boy without hesitation gets up and leaves the classroom. Issei enters a small store to buy and then comes out and sees the nervous brunette. What's happening, Naru-san? He said confused. Naru, yo, she said nervously while holding her arms behind her while holding something. Issei, it feels good, your face is red, he said calmly while touching his face. Naru blushes more, she said nervously but did not finish her sentence as she was interrupted by Sabonion. Lita, hello Issei, did you eat to buy subject? She said calmly while looking at Issei. Issei, yes, I already bought it, you go, I'll talk to Naru, he said calmly. Naru, don't worry, I'll leave, she said nervously as she leaves without Issei seeing the gift, but her bad luck was seen by Lita. Lita, what was it you waged to give him? She said in her mind, tell me Issei, why don't you go with the others while I go get subject I forgot? She said calmly. Issei, well, we'll wait for you soon, he said calmly as he left. Lita, she went in the same direction where Naru went, and when she got to the corner Issei saw Naru with his face all red. Naru said calmly. Naru, get scared, oh hello Lita, she said nervously. Lita, tell me Naru, you were actually going to give Issei that gift, right? She said curiously. Naru, well I said nervously. Yes, she said while lowering her head so as not to show her red face. Lita, you wanted to give that to Issei, she said calmly. Naru, how did you know? He said nervously and blushing. Lita, I saw it, she said with a smile. Tell me which bowl you wanted to give him, she said curiously. Naru, it's like a friendship gift, she said blushing. Lita, but Valentine's Day has already passed, she said surprised. Naru, it's because that day I didn't have the courage to give it to her, but since the day had already passed, I had to do it again so that it would look good, she said blushing and sad at the same time. Lita, sorry I interrupted your opportunity, she said uneasily. You know, I'll help you, so you can give it to him. I'll tell Issei to wait for him at the entrance, and you give it to him, she said with a smile. Naru, don't do it, she said nervously. Lita, come on Naru-san, I trust you will make it, she said happily. Naru, okay, I'll do it, she said determined. Lita, well, at departure time, look for him, she said calmly. After Lita's talks with Naru, Lita returns with the others to eat, and when they heard the end of recess everyone returns to their classes, things that were kind of boring until the time of departure arrived. The girls along with the boys were walking towards the exits, and one of them decides to change the subject. Lita, hey Issei, you stay here since someone told me to tell you to wait for him at the exit, she said calmly. Come on girls and you guys too, she said calmly while grabbing Serena's arm and pulling it. Serena, hey, I wanted to be with Issei, she said rejectedly. Lita, then wait your turn, she said happily. Issei, heaven, what would Lita be thinking? She said calmly as she watched her friends walk away. With Naru. She was walking towards the exit with her face a little red as she remembered what Lita had planned. At the moment of walking she sees Issei standing at the entrance, things that made her more nervous. Naru gets nervous. Come on Naru, you can do it, she said in her mind as she approaches Issei. Hello Issei-san, she said calmly, but inside she is nervous. Issei, hello Naru-san, he said in doubt. Naru, hello Issei-san, what are you doing? She said calmly but nervously inside. Issei, nah, I'm just waiting for one person, Lita already told me, he said calmly. Naru, I was the one who asked, she said nervously, but then she got the courage to say it. Well, I wanted to tell you something, she said nervously with a red face. Issei, tell me what you wanted to tell me, he said in doubt, and at the same time surprised since he has hardly received or said anything to him. Neru, please accept it, she said nervously while giving him a gift. Issei, he is surprised. Drake, tell me, is it my imagination or if it is real that she is giving me that, he said in his mind. Drake, of course you're feeling like an idiot, he said in his mind while he was surprised. Issei, and now what do I do, he said in his mind in doubt. Drake, what do I do, idiot? Accept it, stupid, he shouted angrily while not understanding the question he asked him. Issei, sorry, he said while smiling in his mind. Thanks Neru for that gift, he said happily. Neru, I also wanted to give him that, she said while playing with her fingers and being nervous while feeling something in her chest. What is that feeling? I feel like I want to hug him and kiss him, she said with a red face. I wanted to leave him that, she said nervously while giving Issei a kiss on the cheek, and when she stopped kissing she moves away a little with a red face. Drake/Issei. Both were speechless since that day she met him. Thanks to Serena, she was an intelligent girl in the class, but for her to do those things are new things that both of them did not see from her. Neru, well, she nervously said, I have to leave, so bye. She walked away quickly without turning to see Issei. Issei. He watched as Neru left. I didn't expect that, he said calmly as he looked at the gift. Wait, that's it, he said surprised as he looked again at the place where Neru went. Chapter 13. A Feeling is Born. Is it Love or Friendship? Part 3. Tokyo Juban, the brown-haired boy, was seen walking while he was in doubt, since when he opened the gift he saw something that even surprised him, since for some reason he felt that he knew the object. Issei, I was thoughtful. Drake, leisure, that gift he gave you has a great meaning for you, he said calmly in his mind. Issei, it's a gift that I remember I gave, but I don't remember who it was that I gave that gift to, he said in doubt in his mind. Drake, maybe because you thought too much about breasts, and you already forgot about that person, he said with a smile. Issei, look who you say is a dragon afraid of a female, he said angrily. Drake, hey, he wants to play like that, he's perverted, he said with a smile. Issei, he just gets upset while looking at the chocolate bunny and gives him a taste. I just hope it doesn't hurt me, he said with a little concern while taking a bite of the chocolate. But how tasty, he said surprised. Issei went straight to the Temple of Rei while enjoying the sweet that was given to him, but for some reason he met a person whom he least expected. Issei, what are you doing here, Pendragon? He said unseriously. Arturo, it's just nice to talk to you, he said calmly. Issei, I have nothing to talk to you, traitor, he said seriously as he passes next to Arthur. Arturo, it's about the Fae, he said calmly. Issei, I did it, he said surprised. Okay, go and wait for me in the park, I'll come back with a drink, he said calmly as he went to the soda machine. Arturo, he did as he was told and went to sit on a bench waiting for Issei. Issei, well, what do you want to talk about her? He said not seriously while giving her a Coke. Arturo, days after we betrayed you, the Pendragon house was in disarray, he said seriously. Issei mess, he said seriously. Arturo, yes, many noble houses have heard that the dragon who was looking after my sister Le Fay had abandoned him, he said seriously. Issei, wait, who said that I abandoned him? He said annoyed. Arturo, I don't know, but they never left my parents alone, since all the noble houses sent their heirs to ask for Le Fay's hand. He even wants to challenge my parents to a battle. If they win, he will have to give him Le Fay's hand as his prize, he said seriously. Issei, he gets upset because he realized that his favorite magician is treating him like an object. Arturo, I know I don't deserve your help, but make sure that this calms down or a war will break out between those noble houses against my family, he said seriously. Issei, I will do it, not at your request, but I will go to defend my favorite magician, whom I love very much, he said seriously while getting up from the bench. Warn those useless people to calm down or they will see me. Do not mess with the dragon's favorite, he said seriously and annoyed. Arturo, he nods, see you Hayadu, he said seriously. Issei, If we see each other, he said calmly, since you are my magician's brother, I will give you a chance to be forgiven, so earn my trust again, he said calmly as he walks away. Arturo. He just watched Issei walking after hearing what Issei said. Templo Juban some already got bored because they were waiting for a person who did not arrive, since they all promised to watch a movie until he finally arrived. Vali, where were you? You took so long, he said not seriously while drinking his soda. Issei, I met him, he said calmly. Gasu, who is he? He said curiously. Issei, it's Arthur, he said calmly. Gasu, what did he want? He said seriously. Issei, he told me about the situation of the Pendragon family, that's all he told me, he said calmly. Hey guys, come on, let's go watch the movie, she said calmly. So it was clear that they saw her with Fira, Serene and some girls, and the cat stayed to play with the girls since they were forbidden to watch horror movies, and those who were watching the movie were from The Conjuring 3, The Devil Made Me Do item. When I finished watching the movie, some said it was good, but some were scared, like Serena, who was more scared. She even asked Issei if he could accompany her for a walk to take her mind off the movie, but two girls began to feel things that she doesn't know why. Hataru. I envy the princess so much that I want to spend time with him, she said in her mind as she began to feel jealous without realizing it. Setsuna just stares at Issei and Serena. Issei and Serena had already gone out for a few walks to try to calm her down. Serena, thank you Issei for giving me company, she said calmly while calming down. Issei, it's nothing, it's fun, he said happily. Well, where are we going? He said calmly. Serena, let's play video games, she said calmly. In the den of chaos, Issei Platinum and a girl were seen talking about a serious subject. Rise of him, well, when will we attack? He said seriously. Beryl, we will attack together with the factions. We will let him take care of the strong factions, she said seriously. Rise of him, if the demons no longer have the support of the dragons, they are annoying, he said seriously. Beryl, if the dragons are annoying, I hope the Moon Warriors don't interfere with my plans, she said seriously. They were both talking, but they didn't realize that someone was listening to them. There won't be anything wrong if I warn him, said a boy carrying a spear seriously in his mind. With Issei and Serena. Both are having a good time, even they were walking eating ice cream, then they decide to go to a place to sit on the grass while watching the stars. Serena, I had a lot of fun. Issei, thank you, she said happily. Issei, I had fun too, I've never had fun like that, the last time I had fun was when I was a kid, he said happily and looks at Serena who is looking at the stars. How beautiful, because it gives me the feeling that I know him somewhere, he said in his mind. Serena notices that Issei is looking at him, causing her to look at Issei too. Something is happening, Issei, she said curiously. Issei, nothing, just that you look beautiful looking at the stars, he said calmly while looking at the stars again. Serena, Issei, she nervously said and blushing, making the aforementioned look. Issei, tell me, he said calmly while looking at the blonde with a nervous face. Serena, Issei yo, she said nervously as she brings her face closer to Issei. Issei sees what the blonde wanted to do and also decides to do the same thing and brings her face closer. They were both about to kiss each other, but that was interrupted by someone. Coughs to get his attention. Issei, sorry, I'm sorry, I don't know what I was thinking, he said nervously when he realized what he was doing. Serena, I'm sorry too, I don't know what I was thinking, she said quickly and blushing. Sorry to interrupt your romantic night, Hayate Issei, he said not seriously. Issei, he realizes that someone spoke, but when he sees it he gets upset. Chow Chow, what are you doing here? He said seriously. Chow Chow, it seems that I interrupted your love time, he said with a mocking smile. Issei, stop the nonsense, he said seriously. Chow Chow, well, I just came to give you a warning, don't let your guard down, Security, since Rise of him knows where you're hiding and he already knows about that Moon Kingdom or Moon Castle. Well, I don't know, I only know that he knows about an existence that almost no one has heard of. Until I have not heard about that race, he said seriously. Serena. Chow Chow, Well, that's it. Every see Shikurioi, he said seriously. I feel like you won't come back like before. We have to go back to the others to talk about that topic, he said seriously. Serena, yes, she said seriously. Ha ha, I think we're going to be busy, she said tired. Issei and Serena decided to return with the others to talk about that topic. It took them almost half an hour until they arrived. Serena, hey, we have to talk about something serious, she said seriously while putting her palms together. The girls, she is surprised by the way Serena behaves. Mina, tell me why you are like this, she said curiously. Issei, I met the heavens again. That guy doesn't know how to give up, he said seriously. Gasu, who is he? I have seriously. Issei, I met Cao again, he said seriously. Vali, it seems that has likes Badless so much, I have seriously. Lita, who is he? She said curiously. Vali, I have a human who has a weapon that is capable of killing a god, he said seriously. Killing a god won't be one of those things like you have, she said surprised while receiving the three boys with still, yes. Haruka, my goodness, the problems become more dangerous than the battles we face, she said seriously while closing her eyes and remembering the battles she had. Serena, I hate to admit it, the problems are getting bigger and bigger. We have to do subjecting that they won't like at all, she said calmly but not seriously. Hataru, make princess, she said curiously. Serena, make an alliance with all the races to stop this problem because I'm sure, as Issei said, a group of terrorists called Chaos Briage is causing problems. Most likely Queen Beryl must be there, she said seriously. Ray, good heavens, this time you are acting like a true leader, she said with a smile. But if this is what you decide, we as guardians will be there to support that idea, she said happily. Girls and cats, you can count on us too, she said calmly. Serena, and you guys, what do you decide? She said calmly. Boys, we accept that too, he said seriously. Everyone had already agreed to make an alliance, and also thought about to hold a meeting, but things were not going well elsewhere. Kyoto, a guard was seen running towards a place, and when he arrived he entreed violently. Yokai, Yakesa-sama, it's they who attacked us again, desperate cry. Yasaka, if there are any wounded, take care of them and stop them. I don't want to lose any more soldiers, she said seriously. Yokai, yes Yasaka-sama, serious cry while running away from the place. Kunu, Okasan, how are we going to stop her, she said seriously, already worried about her fallen soldiers. Yasaka, I don't know, they are very strong, she said seriously while biting the nail of her thumb. If that was the day things were no longer going well, every is going down the wrong path, if that wrong path leads to destruction. Chapter 14, K. In K City things have happened differently. One is the school. At school things have become almost silent since many of the students found out what happened between the occult club and the student council club. One of that was the sudden expulsion of the student council. Many began to doubt things that even the student council president for an explanation, she only told him that. Student, Kaisho, because I expelled Gensher. Sona, Genshuro stopped paying attention to me and even stopped supporting his fellow members of the student council, she said seriously. Student, and the who will be the one who occupies the place, he said with little doubt. Students, if you want, I'll take your place, he said happily. All students, no, I need it, choose me, Kaicho, he shouted for them to be selected. Sona, silence, she screamed, cash all the boys to shut up, I already have sub-fight, and everyone went to their classrooms. Many were in DOBT since they did not understand what was happening in both clubs, and therefore in the occult club many were not interested since the entire school knew that perhaps they to join his club. Occult club. There was a tense atmosphere since there were the best clan. He saw him ASTO Traitor as a mammal of the Citri clan. Azazel, well, right now a lot of things have had an end, and the same with each faction. I have tried to communicate with the leader of the yokai Yasaka-sama, but she does not respond to me. The same with Odin and Zeus, I have seriously located in a window. Sound, because she wants to communicate with them, she said seriously. Azazel, to try to fix ourselves and make some allies again, I said a little sadly. Sound deal, you think they would accept it knowing that you, she said seriously. Rias, whether you like it or not, you have the obligation to help restore the alliance, she said seriously. Tsubaki, you have no right to toast them since you are the Uans who let yourselves be carried away by few words, she said seriously. Sona, Tsubaki is right, she said it would be. Azazel, well, that's it, I no longer asked to finish what I was going to say, so a magic circle appeared. He said calmly. Rias, Razor, what do you want? She said seriously. Razor, you haven't changed at all, you're still a capricious girl, he said seriously. Azazel, what does a member of the Phoenix clan want? He said calmly. Razor, I came to tell you something, it's a request, he said seriously. Parents said, I said seriously while looking at Sona. Sona, the truth is I don't mind that this Revel-san is with us, she said calmly. Razor, and she will also have to leave Hayata's house, he said seriously. Azazel, so they are taking it seriously. Razor, I never thought that you have decided not to send Phoenix Tears to your factions, or the Angel Faction so good. Azazel, TKS, I shake his tongue. After Razor left, Sona and her entourage wed to leave, but at the entrance of the door a magic circle of Gremory appeared. Rias thought it was her brother or a relative, things that scared her a little, but it wasn't like that, it was one of her Inuj, it was nothing more than the Gremory Rosswicy Tower. Ross, I've finally arrived, she said tiredly while holding a thick book in her arm. Guys, you have to listen to me, I found subject we didn't know, she said surprised. Azazel, what did you find? He said seriously, making the Citri clan interested him. Ross, before Odin-sama expelled me from his faction, I heard some. Azazel, what did you hear? I have seriously. The Fallen Angel and the Gremory group became curious about what the topic was about, even the Citri group. Ross, yes, I heard Odin talking about the Moon Kingdom and he also said that the princess had awakened, he said lightly. Azazel/Gremory group/Citri group, Moon Kingdom, she said surprised. Azazel, let's see if he has that information, I'd like to hear from them. Honey, how is it that the old bearded man has information that we don't know? He said surprised. Ross, yes, that's what it says, he said not seriously as he opened the books while the others who were there gathered around to hear better. Well, that's how it starts, he said not seriously as he starts to read. My name is Odin, leader of the Isker faction. Long ago we did not know that there was another race taking care of the planets. Once we had to defend a planet that was taken by the Black Elves. We went and arrived at that planet, but what surprised us the most is that there were many bodies of dead Black Elves and we saw around there were people with armor carrying a shield, but that shield had a symbol. That symbol was a moon. From then on I asked them, "Who are you?" And they answered, "We only came to save that planet by order of our queen." We all looked for the person who said it, but no one came. We all looked for the owner of the voice, but we saw everyone silent, and again we asked them, "Where is the one who spoke? Come forward." But one of them stepped forward and said, "I am the one who commands that army. Tell me, do you have any problems saving that planet?" Everyone had fallen silent, and no one knew what was happening. Rias, and since we know that they are strong, they are trash, she said seriously. Azazel, calm down, didn't you hear that I saved a planet? He said seriously. We don't know how strong they are, he said seriously. Ross, you're right, it says here, she said not seriously as everyone paid attention. Both armies were prepared to attack, but we could no longer do anything since someone appeared in front of us, and they, the soldiers who carried the symbol of the moon, only knelt before it. Akeno, for those moon army to kneel before someone, they must be strong, she said surprised. Sona, she didn't say the name of that person who appeared, she said curiously while she was surprised at how the child acted according to her. Ross, let's see if he says, she said calmly. Ruruko, and if you continue reading, maybe the name of that person will appear there, she said curiously. Ross, right, let's see, he said as he started reading. After the flash of light that appeared, it began to fade and a woman came out, but that woman felt a pure power, a pure energy like a white light, and again we asked her, "Who are you?" And she answered us. Ross, his name is, she said surprised. Oh, what's up? He said confused and curious. Ross, that woman's name is, she said surprised. Queen Serenity, or the Queen of the Moon. Chapter 15, Part 2 and the Meeting. Occult Club. Everyone was speechless. No one knows what to answer after hearing a part of the story about the Moon Kingdom. Asia, Queen Serenity, won't it be those girls who were with Issei-san? She said nervously. Sona, I doubt that it's that Argentinian, she said seriously. Remember that the girl who was with Issei was a princess, she said it herself, she said seriously. Azazel, true, why don't you keep reading? He said calmly. Ross, yes, I will continue reading it, he said, not seriously. When she introduced her name we were surprised, but she spoke to us with such kindness, saying, This world needed help, so I sent my army to support it. I was in shock, but then I told my army, There is no need to stay anymore, you can leave. And I called some Valkyries. I need you because I want you to accompany me here. But she invited me to go to her kingdom. I did not deny it because I wanted to know a little about that kingdom. We went, and when I arrived I realized something. In front of me was the planet Earth. Akeno, wait a minute, he's saying it's from outside this planet, she said without believing it. Saji, are they perhaps aliens? I have seriously. Sona, let me continue, she said seriously. Ross, okay, let's continue, she said calmly. Then I heard the Yo woman call me and invite me to enter her castle. When I environment I sub voices saying, Queen Serenity has returned, welcome Queen Serenity. But what surprised me the most was that I heard her say, Motor UHAV returned. I saw your woman who as if her face is reflected in the mirror, Queen Serenity. Zenobia, that sounds like a damn children's story, she said seriously. Ross, let me continue, give me your opinion, she said seriously. In the same place other voices were also heard and 3 young men came out saying, Your Majesty, you has arrived safely. Those young men were. Ross turns page and continues. Later I found out that the kingdom had disappeared. Tsubaki, wait, she said seriously. Ross YC, jump. No, I have not jumped to see, she said a little uneasy. Those young people were. Later I found out that the kingdom. Ross, wait a minute, there's a page missing here. It says page 2 and it jumps to 5, what's more, here it shows that it was torn off, it said it was serious. Azazel, what will it has on those pages? If they bully it will be scholars. Ross, you're wrong. If someone were to enter that room, the alarm would sound. I went in because I knew the alarm was there, and believe me, it wasn't easy to get in without being detected. She said seriously. Sound, how strange, who could it be that tears off those leaves? She said. Azazel, a magic circle appears. Yes, I see, thank you, he said seriously. I have seriously about he reads. They all added and returned to their places while waiting for the day of the meeting. Minutes before KUHS talks. With the boys. The group looks serious, the girls and boys talking about a serious topic. Issei, Vali, you will be able to communicate with Odin, he said seriously. Vali, let me see if that old man answers, he said seriously. Odin, tell me what you want, brats, he said calmly. Vali, Sailor Moon wants to bring the factions together to make an alliance, he said seriously. Odin, because he wants me to have meeting, I have seriously. Gasu, Issei told us that rise of him realized the existence of the Moon Kingdom, he said seriously. Odin, it's true, brat, he said seriously. Issei, yes, and that was Chow Chow, I said seriously. Odin, tell him not to worry, I will hold that meeting myself, he said seriously. Issei, thank you, he said seriously. Serena, what did he say? She said calmly. Gasu, he will hold the meeting himself, he said seriously. Asgore faction. On Odin's throne an old man was seen thinking while sitting on his throne. Odin, how will I make them come to the meeting? I already know Gondel you. Gondel, yes, he said it would be. Odin, I want you to tell the other factions of different rays that there are a meeting tomorrow night here in Isker since we will talk about upcoming problems, he said seriously. Gondel, yes, she said calmly and leaves the room. Odin had given a message to his faithful servant Valkyrie, who shared with different rays who were the biblical factions, vampires, Olympians, Yukai, and sub-gods. With Issei. He is eating his favorite foot until I prescribed to message from Odin. Issei, tell me Odin, he said calmly. Odin, I've already announced that the meeting will be tomorrow night, he said calmly. Issei, okay, thanks Odin, he said calmly. Odin, it's nothing, I'll do whatever the princess asks for, he said calmly. Issei, princess, even when you call her that, he said surprised. Odin, one day I will tell you, so this is where the call ends, he said calmly. Issei, yes, I understand, he said calmly. Kyoto, a woman was seen sitting, and next to her was her daughter. In front of her were some guards giving the information. Guard, Yasaka-sama, the situation is getting worse, but I don't know what their objective is for them to attack us, he said seriously while kneeling. Yasaka, they don't even know what they look like, she said seriously. Guard, he says that they were able to see him, but they couldn't see what he looks like because he says he is hooded, he said seriously. Yasaka, I would like to ask the two Nikomata for help, but I don't want to because they broke the alliance, she said seriously while two images came to her, one of the Tower of Rias Gremory and one of the Friends of the White Celestial Dragon. Guard, maybe we can ask them for help, he said seriously. Yasaka, as I told you, I broke the alliance with them, so don't tell me to ask for help, she said seriously and annoyed. Kunu, but if we ask for the alert to be increased in addition to prohibiting passing through lonely places, perhaps that's where they pass by, she said not seriously. Yasaka, it's a good idea, did you hear what my daughter said? She said seriously. Guardian, yes Yasaka-sama, he said seriously as he leaves. Yasaka, well done Kunu, every time you learn more well, I congratulate you, she said happily. Kunu, yes Okasan, she said happily while hugging her mother. The news of the meeting had already spread throughout the factions such as Olympian Yukai, vampires, and some gods, but Odin also had to hold a meeting with the biblical factions. The next day at night, the castle of Isker was seen. Inside was Odin waiting until a magic circle appeared. Odin, wow, it seems that they came early, he said calmly while he saw the sailors transformed into warriors with the boys who were wearing normal clothes and Sailor Moon in her princess dress. We just have to wait for the others, come follow me, we'll go to the living room, he said calmly. Odin stayed talking to those who arrived while he waited for the others. Almost an hour had passed, everyone was gathered together. Of course some had their auras raised, things that made the sailors a little uncomfortable, and the boys, well, they were already used to it. Not only the sailors but also three leaders who were super nervous. It was none other than the biblical facts. Biblical faction. Angels. Leader Michael and Gabriel along with Irina. Fallen angels. Leader Azazel and Barakiel, Samzazai. Demons. Mao's Lucifer, Mao's Seraphal, Sona's Citri and entourage, Rias and her entourage. Vampire faction. Queen Camellia and Elmenhilden. King Teeps and Valeria. Yukai faction. Leader Yasaka and Kunu along with bodyguard. Olympian Zeus and Apollo faction. Isker faction. Leader Odin and Gondel. Silence reigned in the room until he decided to speak. Zeus, well Odin, what is the reason you called us? He said seriously. Shiva, it must be about the Chaos Breeze Snow, he said seriously. Yasaka, oh worse than that group, she said seriously. Odin, it wasn't me who mentioned it, he said seriously. Zeus, then, he said seriously while looking at Odin. Odin, well, the one who asked was the Princess of the Moon, Serenity, he said calmly while introducing the aforementioned. Serena gets nervous as everyone looked at her. Issei touches him with his elbow and moves his head towards the leaders. Serena, she understood what it meant and decided to muster up her courage. You're right, I was the one who called them, she said a little nervously while trying to be serious. Teeps, Tell us what the reason was, he said seriously. Serena, the reason is to make an alliance because of the problems that are coming, she said a little nervously while trying to be serious. Zeus, no way I'm going to ally myself with treacherous beings like them, he said seriously and angry while pointing at the biblical facts. Shiva, or at least tell the reason for the alliance, she said seriously. Serena, the reason for the alliance is to prevent the problems that come. From that day at night Issei and I found a guy named Chao Chao. He told us about a demon named Rizavim who has already discovered the existence of the Moon Kingdom, she said seriously. Zeus, TKS maybe demons don't know how to control their demons, he said seriously and annoyed. Serena, and not only that, one of our enemies called Beryl. I bet that even now I know that she is also cooperating with that demon, she said seriously. Yasaka, there are so many problems, she said seriously while looking at Camellia. Camilla, that's bad, one day we will fall for that problem, she said calmly while looking at Yasaka. Serena, if you don't like making that alliance just like that, we would just have to set rules, she said it would be, making everyone's attention, the races are in a critical state of trust, for example there will be no exchange of warriors, no one can enter the territory without authorization. If there is a slight problem between their territories you have to do it alone, she said seriously. Shiva sounds good, I like how you said it, I'm going in, he said seriously. Yasaka, I'm joining, she said calmly. Odin, Asgore also enters, he said seriously. Zeus, I like what he said so I go in, he said seriously. Camellia, vampires also unite, she said calmly. Teeps, our side also unites, he said calmly. Michael, the angels are coming in. I hope to get along with you, Alliance, he said calmly. Azazel, I'm in, he said seriously. Serzex stays silent as he thinks, if I join I hope those idiot advisors don't start with their bullshit, and much worse the demons any stupidity can be brought out by the Alliance, he said thoughtfully. Okay, I'll join, he said seriously. Serena, well, with that the Alliance is agreed, she said calmly. Everyone was calm because by making the alliance everyone is at peace since they do not know who will go against them but only one group who open their mouths to their bad luck their leader gets nervous. One moment, she said seriously. Seraphil, Rias Gremmer you are not allowed to speak, she said seriously. Rias, I challenge that damn princess, she said seriously. If you leave we will take it as a defeat, she said seriously. With the words that Gremry said, the entire room fell silent since they never thought about that. Chapter 16, An Unexpected Visit. The whole room was in great silence. 3 leaders were so nervous about that demon's behavior, and one leader was a little upset. Rias, did you hear what I told you? She said seriously. Serena, I was just in doubt because I didn't know what to say. Serzex. He gets up from his seat and bows, surprising his sister and the other leaders. I apologize for the behavior of my sister, the Princess of the Moon, he said with a nervous tone. Some leaders were surprised as the strongest mouse under the gods can easily fall. Serena, okay, we'll go, she said lightly. The members of the Moon Kingdom and also some leaders also left but the only ones who stayed were the biblical factions. Rias. Oni-sama, why would you bow down to that stupid girl, she said seriously. Searches, shut up, you don't know how critical I am, since with effort we were able to make the alliance again, he said seriously. Counselor, I'm sorry Serzex, the 3 of them have to return to the troops, he said seriously. The leaders were upset with the comments of the counselors. With Issei, the 3 boys were seen looking serious and the girls along with the cats and the girls stayed watching. Issei/Vala/Gasu, rock, paper or scissors, he said seriously while moving his hand. Issei pulls out scissors. Vali takes out stone. Gasu, take out the loss. Vala/Gasu, YSSS. Issei, TKS damn lucky guys, he said angrily as he leaves the temple. Issei had lost a bet, now he will be the one to buy the Chinese food. Issei, damn, you had to do that to me. Well, how much would it be? Serena, Rei, Mina, Ami, Hataru, Haruka, Michiru, Setsuna, Vali, Gasu, Luna, Artemis. Damn, I have to buy almost everything in the temple, he said seriously while his eyes were closed, and he was walking. The chestnut was walking, but without realizing it he collided with someone and both fell. Issei, he said in pain. Hey, he said a little angry. I'm sorry, I was looking for an address, but she said nervously while rubbing her head where she received the blow. Issei stares at the purple-haired girl. Don't worry, give me your hand, I'll help you, he said calmly as he helps her get up. Thanks, my name is Sasha, he said while showing his smile. Issei, it's your Sasha, said in shock. Sasha, sorry, I know you, she said in doubt. I don't know why when I see your face I think you're familiar, she said in her mind. Issei, I'm sorry, my name is Issei Hayato, he said calmly. Sasha, wait, you said Issei, she said without believing it. Issei, yes, but I can't believe it, it's really you, Sasha, you've even become more beautiful than before, he said happily. Sasha blushes and yes thanks, while grabbing one of her hair and putting it over her ear. Drake, seeing the girl's blush, he realizes something. Another girl in your harem, really, how many girls do you want, Issei, he said in his mind without believing it. Issei, what were you going to say, Sasha? He said calmly. Sasha, I was going to the Aurora winery to buy things for the week since I just moved here yesterday, she said calmly. Issei, if you want I'll go with you, he said calmly. Sasha, yes, I would like to, maybe we can make up for the time we've lost, she said happily. Issei and his new friend Sasha walked towards the place mentioned in Chestnut, and realized that on the way to the Aurora warehouse there was the Chinese food stand they wanted. Issei, sorry to interrupt, but I'm going to order something, he said calmly while pointing to the restaurant. Sasha, I'll go with you, she said happily. Issei, I can't resist because I feel like I want to hug her, he said in his mind while walking towards the restaurant. Drake, it's because you're a dragon, that's pheromones. The more she releases, the more desire you want to take her. In a few words, you want to rape her until you and she are satisfied, he said in the mind. Issei, rape her as you think, you useless head, then do something to calm those forms, he said angrily in his mind. Sasha looks to the other side while blushing a lot since she heard what the two of them talked about while walking next to Issei towards the restaurant. Issei, well, I'm going to nervous ask for a few requests, he said. Employee, yes, tell me how much it will take, he said calmly. Issei, well, I'll take 30 please, he said with a forced smile. Kyoto, deep in the forest were two hooded people. You idiot, I told you not to make noise, you useless head, she said seriously. I'm sorry, Miss Pandora, but I had to stop you from coming in like that, he said seriously. Pandora, TKS bone bag, don't you see that we call attention twice, she said annoyed. Miss Pandora, you really can't recognize the presence of that person who wants to see you. What's more, Mr. Hades won't take that very well, he said seriously. Pandora, TKS look Orcus, I don't care what Hades does since he's only interested in taking over the world, he said it would be. Orcus, he didn't say anything because he was right, but seriously you've been next to him several times and even if you can't pick up the witness, he said calmly. Pandora gets angry and grabs a rock and throws it at him. Orcus, ugh, he resists the blow to the head and sees the girl disappearing in a magic circle. Women are difficult to understand, he said while sighing. In Tokyo Jubin, while Issei is with his friend shopping at the temple, Rei's house was seen talking quietly, but in the sacred gear he was like ultless. Albion, how did you get here? I have seriously. Favner, because they street me, he said sleepily. Drake, seriously, we need to talk, he said seriously. A dangerous girl appeared in Tokyo, he said seriously. Albion, who is it? I have seriously. Drake, it's the goddess Athena, he said seriously. Fafner, what's wrong with her? I have seriously. Drake, he's with my partner, he said seriously. Fafner/Albion, but what did that idiot do? I have seriously. Drake, it turns out that she is a childhood friend of Issei. He didn't tell me, but until now I checked his memory and yes, they are childhood friends, he said seriously. Fafner/Albion, what the hell, he said in disbelief. With Issei. After having ordered his orders, Issei decides to go with Sasha to the Orera winery. When they embedded, they both divered, already trying red or subshang until Sasha tried to reach something. Sasha, she stood on her tiptoes trying to reach. Issei. Sasha blushes at what Issei said. Issei, you idiot, she said nervously while blushing and with her cheeks puffed out. Issei and Sasha had a lot of fun. They even left the store and went to the restaurant to pick up the food. Sasha wed to go to her house, but Issei invited her. She did not deny him and decided to accept. It took a few minutes for Issei and his friend to arrive at the tempura and enter. Vali, wow, I thought it was to take longer than I thought, he said mockingly since he knows that Issei lost money. Serena. Michiru, who is she? Issei, she said in doubt. Issei, she is Sasha, she is my childhood friend, he said calmly. Sasha, so that's the Moon Kingdom group that I heard from Zeus, she said calmly in her mind. Issei, well, why aren't? Everyone had fun together with the new friend Sasha, they even enjoyed peace. But as always in the shadows, someone is planning. Lair of Rise of him. To platinum-haired man was saying dolefully. Beryl, well, you. Rise of him. We will most likely attack several factions at the same time since the objective of that is the Holy Grail to awaken that beast again, he said seriously. Beryl, TKS, that's problematic, she said seriously. Resivum, I have toes behind me under control, I said seriously while sub-shadows were seen. They told Security that I will have information about that Moon Kingdom, he said seriously. Rise of him, you are, I have seriously. In the boy's house. A room lights up as the magic circle appears. Pandora. Here's the room. I see that there is no one, she said calmly as she lays down on the bed. I will have to leave a note, she said calmly as she gets up and records a notebook and a pen and writes. Ready, that would be off, she said calmly as she leaves the note next to the bed and retreats into a magic circle. With the boys. The fun was over. Everyone had gone to their houses while the boys talked about something until they got to their house. Issei goes straight to his room to lie down for a while, but he realizes something. Issei grabs the note and reads it. Hello, Haida Issei. I have been looking for a way to talk to you without being seen, but I finally managed to find out that you live here. I would like to go to the remote solitary land of Kyoto tomorrow. I will be waiting for you. Please don't miss it. ATT Pandora. Issei, what would she wish for? He said confused as he lays down and waits for a new day. Chapter 17, An Unexpected Visit Part 2. The next day Issei gets up and then decides to go down when he sees the two boys sitting on the couch playing a soccer game. Issei, I see that those games have caught your attention, he said calmly. By the way, I'm going out and I'm going to take a while, he said calmly while creating a magic circle and disappearing. Vali, I think he never gets tired of seeing girls, he said calmly. Gasu, but you already know how he is, he said calmly. With Issei. In a place where there are trees and almost no light enters, the circle appears and Issei comes out. Fufu, I've been waiting for you, Issei, he said with a smile. Issei, what do you say here, Pandora, he said calmly. Pandora, well, you see, she said calmly. In the Greek underworld. A girl was seen sitting on a stone. Orcus, come, she said seriously. Orcus, Kdesia Nix-sama said calmly. Nix, where is Pandora? It's strange that I don't see her here, she said seriously. Orcus, well, you see, he said a little nervously, shit, as I said, I know that Security is also interested in her, but so is Miss Pandora, he said in his mind. Well, you see, she went to talk to Security, he said nervously. Nix, she gets upset, and in her hand she had a stone that she squeezed until it broke, so she also wants to be with him, she said seriously and with a smile. With Issei. The brown-haired boy was standing in front of the girl. Issei feels a big chill on his back. Pandora, the last time we saw each other was when you fought the Bale Demon, she said calmly. Issei, and yes, I remember, but you still haven't told me that you wanted to talk to me. Besides, if you stay here you can cause a lot of problems. For example, one can be detected by Yukai since you are in their territory, and the other you can have more problems with Hades knowing that his most faithful right hand is talking to his enemies, he said calmly. Pandora, I don't care about Hades, I don't like his way of thinking anymore. It would be okay for me to leave that position, she said happily. Issei, because the one who thinks, he said calmly. Pandora, he says that demons and fallen ones should not exist, they have to be exterminated, she said calmly. Issei, I already imagined it, he said in doubt. So I caught your attention, huh Pandora, she said seriously. Pandora, what do you mean Nix, she said with a smile. Nix, stop playing, tell me why you want to be with him, she said seriously. Panpra, come on, don't tell me you're in love with him, and Nix, she said with a smile, causing the aforementioned to blush just like the brown-haired girl. Nix, of course not, she said nervously and blushing. Pandora, your face tells me that if it is more, you yourself said that all men are equal. Who desires the body of a woman, she said with a smile. Nix, blushes, of course not, you're the same, you said that I would never be with a man, she said blushing. Pandora, he caught my interest, she said happily while hugging her head and burying it in her chest. Nix, gets jealous, leave him alone, she said seriously while she puts the brown-haired boy's face buried in her breasts. Drake, looks like you're enjoying yourself, buddy, he said in his mind. Issei, his nose bleeds as he enjoys her breasts. Both girls were fighting because she wanted to hug the brown-haired boy, but by accident she fell on top of the brown-haired boy. Pandora/Nix, Kaya, she moaned while blushing. Issei, his nose bleeds as he realized what he was touching. Her épées are very soft, he said happily in his mind. Pandora/Nix stands up and does her breasts. Seriously, you are a perverted remedy, she said while trying not to drop a few tears, and then the girls look at each other, and her power begins to increase. Issei, hey wait, don't increase your power, they will be discovered, he said a little worried while trying to stop them. Nix/Pandora, you shut up, angry scream. Issei, yeah, it's okay, he said with fear. Now that I think about it, I have to go do something, he said thoughtfully. I'm sorry girls, but I'm going, he said calmly as he leaves in a magic circle. Both girls look at each other seriously. Pandora, Nix, it doesn't matter if I see you as a sister, I'm not going to let you stay with my future partner, she said seriously. Nix, oh, so you're declaring your love to me, let's see who stays, she said it would be. Both girls stared at each other, and then he disappeared in the magic circle going straight to his territory. Drake, seriously, buddy, how many women do you want to have? He said in doubt while taking out a little notebook. Where the hell did he get it from? Let's see, there are those girls who are Serena, Mai, Sasha, Pandora, Nix, you already have 4 girls and 1 goddess, seriously, he said without believing it. Issei, well, what did I expect? I never thought that was going to happen, he said without believing it. Hey, Serena and Moi along with Sasha, they don't show that they are in love with me. I only saw that type of behavior, he said in doubt. Issei had taken a while to get to a place and meets the girl he met last time. Issei, hello Sasha, he said happily. Sasha, hi Issei, how are you? She said happily. Issei, well, I just went out for a walk, he said calmly. Tell me Sasha, you wanted to talk to me, he said calmly while looking at the girl. Sasha, I'll tell you honestly Issei, I know you're the Sekiryutai, she said with her eyes closed. Issei, I'm sorry I didn't hear you well, he said without words. Sasha, you are the Sekiryutai, she said while looking. Issei, but he couldn't finish because Sasha left. Sasha, you know me as Sasha, but in supernatural I am the goddess Athena, she said calmly. Issei, goddess Athena, wait, you are, he said without being able to finish since he had no words. Sasha, I am the reincarnation of Athena, that is the reason I left, she said sadly. I apologize since we lost those years, she said sadly. Issei, there is no need to apologize since neither you nor I knew that you were going to be the reincarnation of the goddess Athena, he said calmly. Sasha, Issei, she said calmly while looking at Issei. Issei, I also think it would be good if you are the reincarnation of Athena and I am the Sekiryutai. We can meet without hiding anything, he said happily. Sasha, yes, she said happily. Issei, I'm Hayata Issei, the Security. Nice to meet you, he said happily while shaking his hand. Sasha, I'm Sasha, the reincarnation of the goddess Athena. Nice to meet you, Hayata Issei, while shaking his hand. Issei, nice to meet you, he said happily. Both spent time talking until Issei receives an annoying call. Issei, what do you want, Lucifer? He said seriously. Surzex, hello Issei-kun, he nervously said. Issei, don't talk to me with confidence, Lucifer, he said seriously. Surzex, well, you see, I had a problem in the underworld, he said seriously. Issei, I'm not interested in those problems you have, he said seriously. Surzex, no, seriously, those damn advisors want you three back. Besides, they told me to do a battle with those warriors, and if I don't, they'll take my position and give it to someone else who wants to destroy that alliance that cost me so much to be accepted, he said seriously and angrily. Issei, and how am I supposed to know that it's not a joke, he said seriously. Surzex, I would like to joke, but I don't joke about those kinds of situations, he said seriously. Issei, well, first I'll report to Odin, he said seriously. Surzex, I leave it to you, Hayadu, he said seriously. Sasa, what do you want? He said seriously. Issei, Lucifer wants me to do a gamer rant in, or else they will take his position and give it to another demon who wants to destroy the alliance, he said seriously. Well, it's a shame we can't continue anymore, so I'm leaving, said Tiankilo. Sasha, yes, of course, she said calmly. Issei, see you tomorrow at school, he said calmly as he leaves. Sasha, wait, Issei, she said, a little nervous and blushing. Issei, what's wrong? He couldn't finish speaking. Moi. Issei blushes as he puts his hand on the part where she touched him. Sasha, I've always wanted to kiss you, she said while blushing and touching her lips. Issei, well, I'm going, he said blushing. Sasha, I saw Issei retreating. Drake, really, buddy, really, how many girls do you want to have? First, the faithful servant of the damned Hades, then 2 goddesses, then 2 humans, in total, there are now 5 girls, he screamed desperately as he saw that his partner was slowly winning the hearts of those girls. Issei, damn, I can't believe it, she's so beautiful, she's become more beautiful than before, he said blushing. Issei arrives at the temple where everyone was gathered and decides to talk about the situation, causing them to make a difficult decision.
Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown and left. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day. Bye.